everybody, you are with us live, Lights Out Sports Podcast, and if I'd stop the music, it'd be a lot better. Look at that. All right, hang on. All right, shut up in the background. There we go. That's what you got to do. Oh, man, it has been a crazy day for me. Cheese, I know it's been kind of crazy for you, but, man, we're looking so forward to doing this. We got college football, we got MLB to cover, and we have NFL to cover. Look at you. Got the bright blue shirt on. I got the bright blue shirt on. We each got the memos and didn't even tell each other, man.
Yours is turquoise. Let's be accurate.
Stop it. Stop it. Sound like my wife now. It's like, it's not blue, it's turquoise. Okay,
just being
whatever.
accurate.
Yeah, just being accurate. You're lucky I can't hurt you from here. Yeah. All right. Now, we are going to do a lot of stuff today. We're going to preview the college football game that's coming up on Monday. We're going to go into MLB with our 4-pitch talk. We're going to do what the Mets have done with Tucker today. It's a rumor to be done. We'll see how that all works out, what the Cubs' latest moves are, and what the Diamondbacks' latest moves are. And then we'll talk a little bit more about everything going on in the world of football. Cheese, I know you wrote the football segment. We're going to talk about the games that are coming up, but I know there's a couple other things too. What else are we going to talk about in our great football segment, buddy?
Well, of course, we're going to talk about Mike Tomlin, who decided to part ways with the Steelers today. And we're, of course, going to talk about Matt LaFleur as well. We touched a little bit on it on the awards special last night. If you haven't checked it out, make sure you do. And then, yeah, we'll predict the games for this weekend. We got 4 games. Looking forward to them.
All right. That is fantastic. We're doing a couple other things here. We're technically doing a bunch of stuff. We got other people on the side. I got all kinds of crazy stuff going on today. So I tell you what, if my wife is going to listen to this, I doubt it. But if she is, I can too multitask, lady. I'm doing it right now. All right.
You're going to get in trouble for that one.
I know. Well, but the thing is, she probably not watching this, so the only way she's ever going to find out is somebody's going to be like, "Oh, you should have heard what your husband said."
Wow, she's not going to like the impersonation either.
No, she's not. But oh well, it'll be okay. She'll get over it. All right, hang on. I got to finish typing this right here. All right, buddy. So. Got comments and everything already. I had to click off the other one. Already got 35 people online with us and all kinds of stuff going on here. We're getting all of our highs again. Look at that. Hi. Hello.
Hello.
Yes. There's. Welcome. I don't know what that face means. Girl, you don't need to do that. It's okay. And then, of course, one of our favorite guests, bring on the football. We will, Ramen. We'll get there, girl. We will. All right, so we can't do a whole lot, as most of you already all know, until we do what we like to call the walk-up music.
Are you ready? 20 seconds start now. Ten seconds remaining. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, like we said, we are here with you. Lights Out Sports Podcast. Myself, Mike Valentine. There's my buddy Cheese over there. He is one of the biggest Packers fans ever. We'll be talking about the Packers here in just a little bit, not only on the actual show itself, but we're going to do the 5 Flamin' 5 in a minute. And that final question, of course, we gotta poke the bear a little bit. It'll be a Green Bay Packer question for him. So we'll get to that here in just a moment. Oh, yes, we got to do that. We got more stuff going on.
When you ask a Green Bay question, it's tough for me to do it in 5 minutes, all 5, when you ask a Packer question. But I'll give it a shot.
I'm sure that you will, sir. I'm sure that you will. All right, there's Ricky, buddy. He's saying, let's go. We got everything put together. We got an announcement for you here in about 3 seconds. We'll give it to you right after we talk to the guy from Russia. What?
Nice.
Now, see, buddy,
what's up, Russia?
International now. Look at that. You can add that to our list.
Pretty soon we'll be Antarctica.
I'm really sorry that you don't like the music, sir, but it's okay.
Mike picked
it's
it.
our show.
Mike picked it.
Well, I like it. How about that? I see Cheese over there smiling. I don't know.
Just saying hi.
Just saying. All right.
That was funny.
Okay, you don't have to like it, buddy. It's fine. It's fine. All right. So we are going to get to the 5 Flamin' 5 in 5 here in just a moment. We'll explain that here, but I need to make this announcement. We keep growing, and thank you guys for YouTube last night. The show that we did last night, where we did our awards show. Of course, we split it up into shorts, and we post a few of them out there every night. We're going to post a few tonight. We're going to post some from this show tonight. And last night, one of the shorts, for like the 3rd or 4th time so far in the last couple of weeks, got like 1.5 thousand, so like 1,500. And we certainly appreciate you doing that. Yes.
Like real quick. Yeah.
Real quick. Yeah, it was like under 10 minutes. So we appreciate you guys. Thank you guys very much for doing that. By the way, Cheese, where is our YouTube channel and what do people do when they get there?
So the YouTube channel, you're talking about this one?
Yes.
All Gloves Off? Yes. All
Right.
Gloves Off SM.
Well, the All Gloves Off Sports Media.
Sports
SM
Media.
is the Twitter. I know.
Yes.
I put you on the spot. I'm sorry.
Well, yeah, I was thinking about mine. I was about to say mine for a second. All Gloves Off Sports Media. And what you do, if you're watching on YouTube, you subscribe. You hit the bell for notification, just in case, we go live. You never know. We might react to something. And you also, if you're watching YouTube, you hit that thumbs up button. Make sure you do
That's
that
right.
as well.
And you can do that with Cheese's YouTube as well. Go ahead, Cheese. Plug away, man. Plug away.
I was going to, shamelessly put a few in there as we went. But, yeah, it's at Football with Cheese, CHEEZ. I got a video today about Mike Tomlin. We're going to talk about him as well. And, yeah, once again, make sure you subscribe.
Right. I watched it, but I think I forgot to redo it, repost it. But we'll take care of that after the show if I did. I can't remember if I did or not. But here's the announcement. We continue to grow, and you guys continue to help us grow. I know Cheese is up to what? Have you got the 500 followers over on yours yet, sir?
I hit 560 today. Correct. Yes.
560 today. Look at this. Where it looks like we're going to get to 100 on the main channel here. So we certainly appreciate that. I don't know why I'm calling it the main channel when Cheese has got five times the followers that we do, but okay, whatever.
Well, I make a lot more videos.
That's true. That's true. And then the other thing now, ladies and gentlemen, we've added a streaming service. So you can find us on Facebook. You can find us on YouTube, both mine and Cheese's. You can find us on X. Again, both mine and Cheese. Cheese, where's your X at, buddy?
It's at Football Cheese. So just football and then CHEEZ. So yeah, just subscribe or not
All
subscribe. Follow me. Look at me. I'm in subscribe. No, I don't have. I might do that eventually, but no, just give me a follow. And DMs are open too. So.
Yeah. I think he's talking to all the ladies out there.
No. I mean,
no, he's not. No.
If you have people do DM me, subscribers DM me on there just for ideas for my channel. Any kind of videos you want to make is what I meant.
That's what he meant. Okay.
Now I have to lock DMs.
I don't know about that, but I don't know. Maybe some of you out there should try him out to see which one he means. But okay, so I'm going to get you in trouble now. I've gotten myself in trouble. Now I'm working on getting you in trouble.
Thanks for that.
But I want to say this, ladies and gentlemen, we have now added Twitch. We have an All Gloves Off Sports Media Twitch account, and we are streaming for the first time live tonight on Twitch. So again, thank you for everything that you guys are allowing us to do. We'll got a comment over here. We'll get that. Really? Yes. Of course we are.
We are not AI, not at all.
Oh, okay. All right.
Thanks for AI. If we were AI, we'd make ourselves even better looking. So
that's not going to be hard for me, but that's going to be really difficult for you, sir.
Okay. All right.
Okay. You'll take that compliment, right? Okay. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's get into some of the sports stuff. Okay, 5 Flamin' 5 and 5 is first. We give Cheese 5 questions. We give him 5 minutes, and he answers them, or he bursts into flames. One of these days, he's going to do it, and I'm going to get to see the reaction. But not so far. Not so far. We're good to go there. We've come close a couple times, but not yet. So 1 college football question 4 NFL questions for you today, Cheese. But the question is, are you ready?
I guess. I just got in trouble, so thank you.
Okay, you're very welcome. I'm not going to say anything else. I'm just going to be done and let that go. And,
let's just go. Let's just hope I keep the Packer question under 2 minutes.
Oh, all right. Here we go. The 5-minute timer will start after I finish the first question. And here it is. Indiana has 8 4- or 5-star recruits. In fact, no 5-star recruits, but they have 45 players with at least 4 years of experience. Do you think other teams will copy what Indiana's doing because of how well Indiana has done?
Oh, absolutely. It's smart. A lot of experience. This transfer portal's out of hand. We've talked about it. They probably need to limit the amount. But, yeah, I mean, they have players that are like 25, 26 years old on the team that have been around for a while. Used to be you could only play a 5th year if you graduated, and now it's just like some people are getting 6th or 7th years. It's crazy, but yeah, I mean it's just smart. A lot of these people were not Power 4 players, and they transferred to Indiana, and look where they are now.
All right, excellent. Let's go to question number 2, sir. The reporter's message to Liam Cohen, if you remember, was positive after they lost. She went through and was like, oh, keep your head up, do all this stuff. Do you think that you are allowed to be positive after a loss?
If anyone hasn't seen that, she basically just told Liam Cohen, the head coach of the Jaguars, after losing at home to the Bills, that keep your head up. It's okay. It's okay. Your future's bright and whatever. And it's just... And he ate it up, and you could tell he was it meant a lot to him. But at the same time, you lost at home in the playoffs. You were the hottest team in the NFL going into the postseason. You can't lose that game. He had some bad turnovers, a bad interception late. You lost. It was such a softball question, and no one else is going to get that. But it just tells me a lot. It tells me, 1, that she's not very good at her job. It tells me, 2, that the Jaguars organization has been so bad for so long that it's okay to go just to make the playoffs. That if I'm a Jaguar fan, I'm pissed because I wanted to win that game. That's what we're going to talk about that later on in that football segment. They basically, it's okay to just go to the playoffs and lose. It's okay because we improved. So that just rubbed me the wrong way.
All right, sir. Ben Johnson went on an F-bomb-ridden locker room tirade after their win over the Bears. Does his tirade bother you, or do you say, as long as he wins, it's all right?
Well, he made comments before the season. When he was the Lions offensive coordinator, he said, I enjoyed beating Matt LaFleur twice last year. He wasn't the head coach. He didn't beat him. The Lions did, and Dan Campbell. And then he was talking took a shot at the Packers for resting their players the last week because the Bears didn't, but the Bears had something to play for, seeding. Packers had nothing to play for. So he just, I don't know what it is. He just hates Matt LaFleur. His opening press conference when he took a shot at him, he praised Kevin O'Connell, the Vikings coach. He praised Dan Campbell, who he worked for, and then just so disrespectful to Matt LaFleur and the Packers. So I don't know what it is. I don't know what his deal is. Do I have a problem with it? Here's the thing. He should have lost 3 times the Packers this year. Packers dominated all 3 games until like the few minutes of the last 2 games. I mean, Matt LaFleur just gave the game away. Packers blew it, special teams and Matt LaFleur. So he's lucky that he beat them 3 times and he can do that. Otherwise, like if he loses the Packers twice next 3 years, I mean, it's going to make him look bad. And the Packers, trust me, they're going to circle that game next year, the Packer players.
All right. Watch your time, buddy. Watch your time.
I told you.
All right. Yeah, that wasn't even the Packers question yet.
Oh, gosh.
The Seattle Seahawks are saying to their season ticket holders that, quote unquote, your 2026 renewal eligibility may be impacted if it is determined that you place your season tickets on a resale market. Can the Seattle Seahawks tell people who pay for their tickets what to do with them?
Absolutely. Every team should do this. Reselling it to the opponent is absolutely absurd. And it's a problem with the Packers. A lot of the people inherited Packer tickets and they moved to Florida, Arizona, warm weather states. And so they go maybe one game a year and sell them. I still remember last year, the Lions were all over that stadium. They were like at least 15%. It was ridiculous. So absolutely, every team should do this.
All right, so I'm going to do this for a second. We've only got 30 seconds left, and there is no way in the world you're going to get this question. And I really don't want to see you burst into flames.
Just pause the timer and then talk about it.
So here's what we're going to do, right? Now let me just pause this for a second, okay? So what we're going to do is something we talked about on the show right before we came on. We're going to do a follow-up. We're going to do the 5 Flamin' 5 and 5 follow-up. That's going to be a new small show that we're going to do. We're probably going to record it after this one, and then we're going to put it out tomorrow. So we're going to comment on all of these things at that point. I'm going to pause the timer. In fact, I'm just going to take it off the screen, all right?
Get it off.
Put us both back up here. I'm going to ask you this last question, and we're actually going to do some follow-up on this one. So here we go. With the Packers' loss to the Bears, it means that the Cowboys will have the 12th and the 20th pick in the upcoming draft. As a draft guru that you are, can you turn a franchise around with 2 top 20 picks?
If you hit on the picks, absolutely. They don't have a second round pick because they traded for Quinnen Williams. I don't even know if they have a third round pick. So what they're going to have to do is trade back. If that's the case, I'd have to look it up for sure. If anyone is watching, can look it up for me. I appreciate it. But if they don't have a single day 2 pick, day 2 picks are so important. That's when you get starters. You don't maybe get your playmakers, you get starters second, third round. So they need to trade down. They need a lot. They need a lot of help on the defense. They need a lot of help on the offensive line, but they've got to turn those picks, whether they use them or trade down and turn into more draft capital. They have to hit on those. And Jerry Jones has been very hit and miss on first round picks lately. He hit on CeeDee Lamb, he hit on Micah Parsons, traded him, but like Tyler Guyton has been terrible. Mazi Smith, absolute disaster. One of the worst first round picks Jerry's ever had, and he's had some bad ones. So you just. If he busts on those picks, all the picks he got for the Packers, then it's going to be one of the worst trades ever. So, we'll see what he uses them on. And Jerry loves to use linemen, offense, defensive linemen on the picks. So we'll see if he goes that route.
All right. So by what I can look up real quick, it says the Cowboys have the first 2 picks, and then they don't pick again to the 4th and the 5th rounds.
Right.
So it looks like you were right. I don't think they have a second or a third.
So I expect one of those picks for sure to be a trade back to try to get some of that draft capital back.
Well, there's Amy again. There's back Amy. On. Hello, Amy. We appreciate you. I know you're going to add some great stuff to us here tonight, like you did last night. So what about the money component here, Cheese, as far as the Packers and the Cowboys? You're going to have to pay Micah Parsons big, yet you can get 2 first-round draft picks and not pay them near as much. So what would you say to me about the money compensation here and the difference between what they're going to have to pay Parsons and what they're going to get those first 2 picks for?
Well, that's a big knock on the trade from the Packers' perspective, is that you give up a lot of draft capital and you have to pay him, and they did. He's got the second biggest contract besides Jordan Love. So, but that's what you have to do in that situation if you want him, But you can't put a value on an elite Hall of Fame pass rusher. You can't. There's no value. Like 4 first-round picks to me would not be enough unless you just get so lucky and hit on all those picks. So we'll see what happens. The Cowboys could have afforded Parsons. They would have had to get, a little more. They would have had to push some contracts in the future, but they could have afforded him if they really wanted to. But they chose to trade him, and pass rush is a big issue for them this past year. And
neither. Oh, go ahead, sir. I'm sorry.
And their second round pick, Donovan Ezaraku, edge rusher. It's probably their best edge rusher this year. He just got arrested. So, not looking great right now, the defensive line.
Okay. Neither of their picks are in the top 10. Does that make a big difference to you? Or, is it harder to hit on them? Is it just less obvious who they're going to take? how, again, being the draft guy that you are, not being in the top 10, but having two between 10 and 20, talk to me a little bit. What's the difference there?
It depends on the draft. Like Brock Bowers 2 years ago went 13th. That draft was so loaded at the top. Like Brock Bowers should not go 13th, but there were 6 quarterbacks ahead of him. This draft, you're not going to get a Brock Bowers down at 12. But they might be okay. There might not be difference between 8 and 20. There might not be a big difference at all. It's just not strong at the top. So you'd like a stronger first round, but they might be okay. 20 might be a pretty good spot because you still probably have a first round talent. But, if you're picking 26, 27 this draft, you're going to be like, wow, this guy normally goes mid-second round. It's just not super strong at the top. But there are some good receivers up there.
Okay, last question on this topic. This is what we're going to try to do with this 5 Flamin' 5-and-5 follow-up. Boy, it's a lot of but we're gonna do a new show. We're gonna debut it tomorrow, I believe. We may wait till next week, but talk to us. Tell us in the comments what you think about doing something like that if we did the rest of the questions like we're doing this one. So we talked about the money component. We talked that neither of them were in the top 10. And because you've got 2 picks, Cheese, that are in that top 20, does that mean you can take a chance on one of those picks, like a high upside guy that might have character issues or something like that? Or do you think you have to nail both of these picks of your Dallas?
Whew. That is such a great question. I think it just depends, really. I'm sorry, I'm not going to give the greatest answer, but it depends how the board falls.
Well, that's part of this whole thing, right? You don't know these questions are coming, so
yeah. So like it depends how the board falls. If you just love the upside of a player, but he might need a year or two, but you just absolutely love it, and he's right up there with the rest of them. Yeah, take a chance because you have the extra draft capital. I don't know how easy it will be to trade down though with a weak first round. I like the depth of this draft. I think the best rounds probably might be like 3 and 4. I think you're going to get like third round, you might get some second round talent still left, and fourth round you might get third round talent. Right now they don't have any third round picks, so I think it's a really good draft to have day 2 picks in my opinion. But yeah, it affords you the luxury of doing that when you have multiple first round picks. But I think Dallas, I wouldn't say play it safe. They need to just take the best player on the board. They need a lot for a team that won 7 games. They didn't win 2 or 3. They won 7. They still need a lot. So I just sit there and take the best player on the board. If you get a good trade offer, move back.
Right. Well, we've talked about this. I mean, they had a 4,000-yard quarterback. They had 2,000-yard receivers and a 1,000-yard running back and still didn't make the playoffs. That's because their defense is bad. So they probably need to draft defense, right?
They need to draft a lot of defense, and the offensive line, it's amazing their offense was that good with that offensive line, especially pass blocking. It's just not good. But Dak had a great season. He handled pressure as well as anyone in the NFL this year, believe it or not. Dak Prescott had a really good year. But George Pickens is a free agent, so we'll see what happens if they re-sign him. If they lose him, they're going to really need a wide receiver.
Okay, well, that's interesting. We could talk about all this stuff all day long as we can get into draft stuff and, do they let Pickens go? Do they grab somebody in the draft? What do they do? But that's for a little bit down the road. We're still in the football playoff mode here, and we'll get to that here in just a moment. In our third segment, we'll do the college football spread offense. We'll do MLB 4-down territory, and then we'll jump into the NFL. We can't wait to do that, buddy. All right, so you know how we do this. Before we get into all of these big things, we got to change the background. We got to pump it up with some music, and we got to get into all of this stuff. So in order to do that, let's hit the right buttons, and let's keep on going. Now I know how you really feel. You probably hate this song too. I like how you just kind of smirk, but you don't say anything. That pretty much tells me all I need to know. So that's okay.
I want to scream over the wonderful music.
Right? So got all kinds of stuff going on here. We're going to focus, of course, on the national championship game. That will be this coming Monday. It'll be on ESPN. I believe 7:30 on the East Coast time. If that's correct, I'm pretty sure that's right. Sorry about that. So let's go ahead and jump into this a little bit, buddy. I'm gonna rattle off some stuff to you. I'm gonna basically give you my prediction, and then I'm gonna let you talk about the game as you see it, and then give your prediction. We're not gonna do a whole lot more on the college football playoff today, but I'm not going to do anything else college football wise because we got a lot of MLB to talk about. We didn't do much MLB last week. And of course, I mean, it's the NFL playoffs. We got to jump into that. And we got Mike Tomlin to talk about. And we got the Cincinnati Bengals coach to talk about. And we got all kinds of stuff here on the Lights Out Sports podcast. So stick with us and just hear us out. All right. So here we go. I'm going to start off with a few numbers. The first number I'm going to start off with, I mean, I've already got myself in trouble. We may as well start off with the best number in the world, right? We're going to start off with the number 69. 69 total points. Indiana beat Alabama and Oregon by in their 2 college football games. In those 2 games, Indiana not only beat them, but beat them by a total of 69 points. What do you think about that stat, Cheese?
It's not like they're playing bad teams. It's a college football playoff.
Right.
And they didn't play JMU, they didn't play Tulane. It's pretty incredible. I mean, they have absolutely dominated 2 games. And I was texting with you and with a lot of people during the game, and it's just like, what does Indiana do bad? They're good at everything. There's nothing, not one unit on that team that is bad. And it's pretty remarkable. We talked about before the season. We thought no one was as good as Ohio State last year. No one this year. There's one team that could have hung with Ohio State last year, and that's this year's Indiana team.
Absolutely. All right, so let's move from that number to the number 100. 100 is the combined point total that Indiana beat its 4 top 10 opponents by this year. So if you take those 4 top 10 opponents that they played and smash them together, right? Let's not just take the 2 games. Let's take all 4 of them. They beat them by 100 points collectively. How crazy is that, buddy?
And only 3 versus Ohio State. So the other 3, 97 points.
Right.
So that's just remarkable. In Oregon, it was a 1-score game late. It was a 7-point game. Indiana got a late field goal, won by 10. They only lost by 10 last time they played. This time, oh my God, was that a slaughter. So Indiana, they've been great all year, but they have hit a new level in the college football playoff.
All right. Well, before we get into the college football playoff too much, let's talk about the actual season, because that's what this next stat is. 473. That's Indiana's point differential this season between themselves and the people they played in the regular season. They beat them by 473 points. And by the way, it is the largest ever since the college football playoff has been invented. The largest point spread ever in a regular season. How good was their regular season, Chiefs?
It was incredible. I mean, they had a couple games they didn't play necessarily well, but still won. They didn't play great against Penn State, but only won by 3. Okay, appreciate that.
Yeah.
But it's remarkable.
Love you, Chiefs. They're your fans, buddy.
Indiana made the playoff last year. They lost to Notre Dame first round. And a lot of people expect them to be very good this year, but not this good. And they have pretty much just, for the most part, dominated this year.
Yeah. So Amy says, hey, that's the question. Have y'all ever seen the Ducks get beat that bad? No. I've never seen Oregon get beat that bad. And if you really look at Oregon, Cheese, and I know you know this because you do a lot of analyzing and stuff like that, Oregon has actually improved over the last couple of years. They just simply ran into Indiana, and Indiana's just almost unworldly right now.
It's the only team they lost to. Oregon is always good. They're always, top 10 team. They always are, but
Mm-hmm.
they can never just beat one of the best. Whenever they face like a top 2 team, the best team in the country, they just can't beat them. That's the biggest issue Dan Lanning in Oregon has had.
Yeah, guys, just wait. I can't wait till the end of this. We are going to do our lights out list. And if you haven't seen the tweet that I put out there earlier, our lights out list today that Cheese and I are going to do the top 10 NFL vacancies right now with a twist. And we'll explain what that twist is here in just a couple of moments. So let me give you some more things, right? I want to say this to you, Cheese. Mistakes doom teams just as much as great players make teams. Would you agree with that?
Absolutely. Just you look at games, if one team turns the ball over 3 times, they rarely win, like any game.
Except if you're the Texans. You know, you can do it and still clobber the Steelers, and it's okay. But
hey, yeah, I think it was 9-3 in the fourth quarter. So the Steelers still had a chance late in that game, which is crazy for how horrible it was going.
Yes, that is true. And, you know, you don't have to tell us thanks for the answer, Amy. We appreciate you commenting, and we would encourage all the rest of our fans to get on that chat right there and put things up like what you have, and we'll certainly talk to each and every one of you. But we thank you very much, Amy. So, yes, mistakes doom teams just as much as great players make teams. I got a couple of stats here as far as the mistakes that can be made. Let me get you to guess something for me, Cheese. I'm going to put you on the spot here for a moment, right? It's like we're doing the 5 flaming 5 and 5 again, right?
Okay.
Indiana has fumbled the ball how many times since the first game of their regular season? All the games they played this year, how many times do you think Indiana has fumbled?
Fumbles lost or just fumbled?
No, fumbles lost. Let me create that. It has to be one that the other team got.
How many times they fumbled since the first week?
Yes.
Once.
That is correct.
Once.
The only other team to do that, UConn this year. So UConn has only fumbled once that they lost, and Indiana has only fumbled once that they have lost. So now take this for a second. The Indiana Hoosiers are as good as we know they are, plus they don't make mistakes. I mean, that's one of the things that we've talked about almost this entire time, right? Not only are they good, but they're coached well and they don't make mistakes, right, Cheese?
Yeah, they're just so efficient. They're so efficient on offense. They're disciplined. The receivers run the right route. The lineman seems to not get the right block when he's pulling. Like, it's just Kurt Cignetti is just an incredible coach. He's won everywhere he's gone. He did an amazing job at JMU. It's just he was the recruiting coordinator and I believe it was it wide receiver coach for Alabama, like under Saban when Saban first got there. So like he learned from Saban, and you just don't see even some of the best teams I've ever seen in college football. They still have a weakness or two, something you can exploit. I just don't see anything you can really exploit for Indiana. I have one possibility. We'll talk about that second prediction. One thing in Miami might be able to hang with them, but it's incredible how well coached and how well disciplined Indiana is.
So I want to look at what William said here for a second. I know we're going to get a little off topic because we're into our college football thing here, but he says the Steelers suck so bad, but we owe the Texans a favor for getting Tomlin out. Now, that sounds like he's a reporter that talks to Liam Cohen in the middle of a Jaguars press conference, right? I mean, you can't have you got blasted, yet you want to try to find a silver lining here. Talk to us. We talked about it in the 5 flaming 5 and 5. Can you be positive when you get the dog crap kicked out of you at home? Cheese?
No. It's if you make the playoffs. I know that they did not have as good a record as the Texans. Texans have won like 10 straight to the end of the year. That stupid rule.
Momentum is a real thing in sports.
This stupid rule, you win division, you get a home game. It's absolutely ridiculous, but the NFL is obsessed. We want to reward division winners. If you want to do that, you need more divisions, or fewer divisions. So this doesn't happen. I mean, no one had a win record in the NFC South. It's ridiculous. But yeah, it was embarrassing loss. It was just such a horrible matchup for the Steelers. And
oh, I love our fans. I really do. That's a great comeback right there. That really is a great take.
Hey, that's the Packer way. just you got to do it the Packer way.
But we
Now we just need a head
discussed
coach.
this previously, though. I mean, being in mediocrity is the worst place to be in any sports team and any sports franchise. Any whether it's NBA or MLB or NFL or even soccer or lacrosse or whatever, being mediocre and the fact that then you can't go out and get a franchise person is the worst place to be. We've said it before. We will continue to say it.
Well, just on that, typically now, if there's a quarterback at all, if you're picking the top 10, top 5, if you need a quarterback, you just take him. Jordan Love and Aaron Rodgers both are drafted in the 20s. So it's not – but even back when Aaron Rodgers was taken, a lot of teams the quarterback wasn't as important. I know that's weird to say, and that's why Aaron fell. And Jordan Love just didn't have as good a junior year as he did freshman and sophomore. But typically franchise quarterbacks don't fall in the 20s. So – and the Steelers – They tried with Kenny Pickett. It was – I still can't believe it. If someone asked me, where would you take him? I would have said 4th round draft. I'd take him in the 4th round. He'd be a good, decent backup. But, yeah, typically you have to pick top 5, depending on the draft. Maybe top 10. Maybe you can get Bo Nix 12, but that's rare. You have a draft where there's 6 really good quarterbacks, or supposedly. We'll see if they all end up being good. So, yeah, if you're picking 18th, 19th, 20th, 21st every year, you're probably not going to get a franchise quarterback.
Correct. Cheese, I think your dad's watching the show, and I think your dad's William.
No, he is not. And yeah, my dad's he might be watching, but that's not his YouTube.
Okay. I mean, this guy's right on point with you now, right? I mean,
yeah. Letters. Oh shoot. Let me look it up. There's you can email the Green Bay Packers. I did. I can even share on one of my videos what I said. It's pretty heartwarming. Just like, look, fans are not okay with this. If you want to email, it's letters2lambeau@packers.com. Letters2Lambeau, like Lambeau Field, @packers.com. You can email the Packers and tell you what they think. I've done it multiple years. This year was much longer, more heartfelt, saying enough's enough. We'll talk about that in a second, about the culture and everything.
We will. We'll talk about that. I'm going to throw some things up here. Amy, I'll save yours for the football segment. Don't think I'm ignoring you, because I'm not. But we'll save yours for the football segment here. So
you'll see in the football segment, we will talk about Matt LaFleur and the culture of the Green Bay Packers.
Yes, we will. I'm sorry. I don't know what the deal is over here. I'm coughing today, so I've got the little allergy stuff going on. But we'll get over it. We'll get through it, and we'll bring you guys the great sports that we know you all love, right here on the Lights Out Sports Podcast. So Indiana has out. Let's get back into college football here for a moment. This big championship game between Miami and Indiana on Monday. Let me give you this one. Indiana has outscored their opponents by 236 points in the second half. In the second half, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
Yeah. But now let's talk a few things that are positive about Miami, because even, we were talking off air and you were telling me, I can't wait. I think I might have found something to where Miami might be able to win. We'll get that here in just a moment from Cheese. I can't wait to see what he has found. I'm sure he's been watching all kinds of tapes on them. Now, Miami, not surprisingly, leads the nation with 47 sacks. But here's what was surprising to me. How many sacks do you think Indiana has this year, Cheese?
Probably not far off. 39.
Probably not far off. Miami has 47. Indiana has 45. Okay. I would have never guessed that they were that close.
Well,
no team.
They've certainly been getting a lot of sacks in the college football playoff.
Well, that's true. They and that's what's really up their game, I think, in the college football playoff, is how much pressure and sacks. Now, again, this is a thing that you preach all the time. You don't necessarily have to get a sack. The pressures, the containment, all that stuff is really important too, and they've done a great job at being able to do that.
Yeah,
no team.
I'll just say this: Oregon, both offensive tackles for Oregon were drafted. One was a first-round pick, and they did not replace him. That was a big issue for them. The offensive tackles were terrible.
Okay. And again, another astute observation by our buddy Cheese.
Thank you.
No team has ever finished the season 8-0 against AC ranked opponents. If Miami wins on Monday, they can accomplish that feat and be the only team ever to do it. Miami could be only the third team in history. They would join then LSU and Ohio State to beat 6 top 10 teams in a single season. So you've got to give Miami some credit here. They've been doing this really well all season long, kind of under the radar a little bit. Let me give you this one too. If Miami wins on Monday night, they will have beaten a number 1 ranked team 10 times in their career, in their, however you want to put it, right? Since Miami's been a college football powerhouse, they will have beaten a number 1 ranked team 10 times. The only team that has beat a number 1 ranked team more is Alabama. Just wanted to throw some interesting stuff out there. Let me give you my prediction, and I'm going to turn everything over to Cheese and let him do the same thing. So I think that Miami, Indiana will be a good game for the first 2 quarters. And, especially that stat that we did earlier where Indiana beats the ranked teams by, let me find it again here, 236 points in the second half. I really think that Indiana will take over and they'll beat them soundly in the second half, and therefore they'll beat them soundly in this game. I also think that Indiana is not going to call the dogs off just like they didn't do against Oregon. I was really surprised they kept putting Mendoza out there over and over and over again. Here's a couple more things for you. Miami, in the preseason AP Top 25 poll, was ranked 10th, right where they are now. Indiana, in the preseason AP Top 25 poll, was ranked 20th. And the last stat that I'll give you here, Miami has been ranked 551 times. Indiana has been ranked 95 times. And that's with 28 in just the last couple of years. Miami has been a top 5 team 213 times. Indiana has been a top 5 ranked team in their history, right? Miami's history, 213 times. Indiana's history, 18 times.
Well, you could argue Miami, maybe take Rutgers out of there, but you could argue, not Miami, Indiana. You could argue Indiana was the worst team in the Big Ten, but more than 2 years ago.
Yeah.
For the last 30 years, I may except maybe Rutgers, like terrible, like worse than Minnesota, like just not a good team at all. And I'll tell you what I worried when we had NIL, when we had transfer, I worried that all the transfers were going to go to Alabama, Georgia, Michigan, Ohio State, and like 9 or 10 teams would be good. And everyone else would suck, just not even be on that level. That's what I worry. We get these superpowers. Well, what Indiana done is kind of the opposite. They're like, okay, we can spend money. We can get people in the transfer portal, and that'll make us – then we can compete with Michigan, Ohio State. If you get the right coach, you have to have the right coach, and they do. So this is a success story for college football. This gives you hope. If you're a Stanford alum, if you're a Wake Forest alum or something like that, maybe we have a shot. If we get the right coach, we can just get all these transfers and we can get to the college football playoff. Here's what Miami has to do. Miami is very good on both lines, the defense, offensive line. They have to control both, not just one both. And it's really hard to do against Indiana. I don't see it happening, but they have to pound the rock, and run the ball on Indiana. Easier said than done. If they do that, if they can control line of scrimmage, if they can keep their defense off the field, because Indiana is going to score, then they have a shot. They have a shot to keep it close. I'm a little surprised the spread's 8.5. Well, Miami's been playing really well, so maybe I'm not too surprised. It was only 4.5 against Oregon, and we were both surprised. We both took Indiana. But Indiana, they have to get pressure. And on the other side of the ball, the D-line, they have to get pressure on Mendoza. Because when he was so in rhythm against Oregon. He was so poised. You got to get him out of his rhythm. And I watched that game against Oregon, and he's every time when he wanted to throw, he threw. First read, second, third read, he just was ready, threw it on time. he was so just confident and in control of that game. And you have to get him off that. I don't think they will. I think Indiana wins. I think they win by double digits. Like you said, it's probably at some point in the third quarter, it's probably to get away from Miami. You got to give Miami credit, though. Middle of the year, they lost to SMU. In Louisville, they looked not so good. And they've really, ever since then, they've gotten better. They've looked great the last 4 or 5 games. One last thing I want to say before we go on.
Sure.
Fix the headset.
Okay.
If Indiana wins, this is pretty remarkable. It'll be the 3rd straight year a Big Ten team wins. A different Big Ten team. And because Michigan won 2 years ago. Ohio State. Yes. All right, Oregon, next year. It's your year. If they do it 4 straight years, and I think Oregon's the only team that could possibly be the 4th team. Sorry, not Penn State. If not USC. If
I was going to say USC, maybe.
No. If Oregon can
they have a
somehow
great
win
transfer
next year,
portal class, by the way. USC does.
Oregon somehow has to win one of these. They have to get over the Marcus Mariota years were really good. They've had some really good teams. They've had teams where they were like 2nd or 3rd best team in the country, and they just can't get over the hump. They were the number 1 seed last year, lost. So, yes, if Indiana wins, which we assume, Oregon next year is your year. So then the Big Ten would have won 4 straight with 4 different teams. It'd be pretty remarkable.
I want to make this statement. I haven't asked Cheese this, but I'm just going to go ahead and say it, and I don't think you'll disagree with me here. Next week on the Lights Out Sports podcast, when we do our college football spread offense, Cheese and I are going to we're going to rank the AP poll, not the preseason poll for next year. We're going to rank where we would put the teams at now that everything is said and done. We're going to rank all 25 teams now that the season is done. Where would we put everybody at the end of the season? Now, that will affect next season, but we're going to rank everybody now that the season's over. It will be over by Tuesday next week. We'll go over the game that was, and then we'll rank those top 25 opponents. I can't wait to do both of those things. All right. I'm going to give you my prediction. You said 8.5's the spread, right? And then
8.5's the spread. I'd like him to easily cover that. And top 25, UConn doesn't fumble. I'm putting UConn pretty high.
There you go. There you go. Hey, man, that is a good stat. I don't care what team you are. For you to only fumble once in their entire regular season, that's pretty good. Texans beat that last night all by themselves in 1 game.
It's funny. The Texans were like the team that never turns the ball over.
I know. I was so worried when they kept doing it.
So you give it words. You were nervous.
I remember C.J. Stroud sitting on the turf after he gave up the second one, just sitting there looking around like, what is going on right now? So I thought it was pretty impressive that he kind of got out of that funky and he kept going. But we'll talk about more in the NFL here in just a moment. So here's my prediction.
Okay.
Like I said, I think it'll be a close game. So I'll have it be a close game. Halftime, 17-14 Indiana. And then I think Indiana is just going to take over, and they're not going to call off the dogs. They're going to prove a point. They're just going to absolutely just keep scoring and keep scoring and keep scoring, just like they did against Oregon. So I'm actually going to put Indiana at 45-24 will be the final. 45-24 Indiana.
Yeah, one more thing I just thought of is Carson Beck is the quarterback of Miami. I've been kind of hard on him. He's been playing well, and he's another one. He could just all of a sudden just have a terrible game out of nowhere. He did it in Georgia. He looked so good, and he just hasn't yet. But this could be a defense that really gets to him. We'll see what happens. If he has a bad game, this will get ugly, quickly. So,
yes.
Yeah, but I like Indiana to win 17, 20 points, something like that,
Yeah, but do you think it makes a difference? I thought about bringing this up, but I ended up not. You kind of brought it up, so I'll go with it for a second. Do you think it makes a difference that Carson Beck has been in what? I think this will be his third or fourth national title game because of the different schools he's been with?
He's got a lot of experience. Mm-hmm. And that's important. But Indiana has a lot of experience as well. They were in the playoff last year. And they've already had 2 games this year. So, it can't hurt, but Indiana definitely has the better quarterback. Hands down.
All right. I want to plug this real quick. Our buddies over at the Red Hot Reds podcast are going to be doing. They just finished it up. We were just talking to Ricky off air before we came on here. They finished an interview with a minor league outfielder. He was the 9th round pick of the Cincinnati Reds, and he was from Arizona State. I'm really excited to listen to this interview. They told me he's in an apartment right down the street from me. I was like, what? So I may have to do some investigating here and meet this guy after I listen to the interview tomorrow.
You guys are going to become besties. You're going to become besties.
I know. We were
you
really
Kian
good.
Vu? His name is Kian Vu?
Kian Vu. Kienvu. So look forward to that interview tomorrow on the Red Hot Reds podcast right here. They are part of the Lights. Oh, wow. I am really messing this up tonight. They're part of All Gloves Off Sports Media. We're the Lights Out Sports podcast, and they are the Red Hot Reds podcast. I think I got all that straightened out now.
I got a Kian Vu stat for you.
Oh, look out.
In 2023, Kian Vu, with Arizona State was in the Pac-12, led the conference with a .418 average and a .916 slugging percentage. .418.
Wow.
Pretty good hitter.
That's pretty good. That's probably why he was a big-time selection for the Cincinnati Reds. It's a big-time interview for our guys over at the Red Hot Reds podcast.
Played well at Daytona last year, probably in Chattanooga this year.
I would say so. You're probably right there. You're like, what is that crazy man doing? I turned the book here to the next page for the notes, and I couldn't get the page to stay back, so I had to clip it with something. There we go.
Just improv. Right. Just improv the baseball segment.
Well, of course. Thank you, William. Appreciate that. We try really hard, and I can also tell you, we're not bragging here. At least I'm not bragging. I don't know about Cheese. He might brag a little bit, but we do a lot of research for this show. I mean, the show takes 2.5 hours as it is, sometimes closer to 3. And we probably put twice as much into that in research and development and all that kind of stuff. So, once again, we're on Facebook. We're on our YouTube channels. We are now on Twitch. Thank you guys very much for allowing us to continue to expand. We are also on X as well. You can get us at our main X page. That is All Gloves Off SM. And Cheese, what is your page, buddy?
At Football with Cheese. Cheese is CHEEZ. So just make sure you subscribe and hit the bell so you never miss a video. Whenever there's a coach firing something crazy, I do an instant reaction. So make sure you subscribe.
We're hoping there's going to be one more. We'll talk about that here in a second. All right, that'll have to do the kind of twist that we're going to do with our Lights Out list here as we conclude everything today on the Lights Out Sports podcast. All right, we are going to jump into the best graphic in all of podcasting. It is our baseball segment. We have to give you baseball music first, and then we'll show you exactly what we're talking about. Here we go. All right, man, when I was writing all this and putting all this together, I was like, I'm not sure if we've got enough stuff to talk about. But we have got a ton of stuff to talk about with the Chicago Cubs, of course. Cheese is a big Chicago Cubs fan. He likes the Cubs and the Braves. But we're going to talk about the Cubs today. And then we're also going to talk about the Diamondbacks, because they made a move today that we're really going to dive into and find out what it means for the Diamondbacks. And then the Cubs have made several moves in the offseason, and we're going to talk about a lot of stuff with them first. But before we get to that, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to get to this. Reports say that the Mets have offered Kyle Tucker a 3-year deal that is worth somewhere in the neighborhood of $120 to $140 million for 3 years. And that Tucker and his agency, that awful guy that his initials are S and B, right? Should be B and S, but they're S and B. Anyway.
Should be SATAN.
Here we go. He countered and said that he wanted a deal from the Mets with $50 million annual value. 3 years, 50 apiece. So he wants a 3-year, $150 million contract. And the Mets are thinking about it. Jeez. Is anyone worth that kind of money, buddy?
No. Definitely not Kyle Tucker. I'll just say this. He, about midway through of the 2024 season, he was probably a top 5 hitter in baseball. Okay. Then he fouls the ball off his calf, doesn't have as good a second half, and he just wasn't all that great for the Cubs last year. He had 22 home runs for the year. And his defense is above average and right. Okay. It's not like he's amazing. I just don't know. I mean, he's a good hitter. He's He's going to probably be an all-star, but the last year and a half, he has not been a great hitter. And there were rumors that he wanted $4 million contract. I guess if he's doing a short term with opt-outs, he wants $50 million a year. And, there was rumor 11 years, 400 is what he was seeking, but it's like anyone that gives him that, if you give him $50 million a year, even on short term, it would destroy the market because there's hitters that are better than him are going to want 55, 60 million a year. So the Mets, that Juan Soto deal is so bad for baseball, but the Mets, Steve Cohen, I think is his owner's name.
Yes.
He didn't care. He didn't care. He spends all the money and they still didn't even make the playoffs, but this would be terrible for baseball.
Yeah, I mean, I certainly agree with you here. I'm looking up some Kyle Tucker stats real quick. So I was looking to see how old he was. Kyle Tucker is 28 years old, 361, so almost 29, and you're going to give him an 11-year deal that'll take him up to age 40. I think we've talked about this on this show before, right? You don't want an Albert Pujols deal. You don't want a Josh Hamilton deal. You don't want an Anthony Rendon deal.
Chris Davis.
The Angels.
Chris Davis, Orioles.
Chris Davis. we can. I'm sure we can name off a few more, but it's funny just to name off all the Angels deals. Yeah.
Carl Crawford.
Now, last year he was a 4.6 WAR, which is wins above replacement, and he did have 500 at bats, 133 hits, 22 home runs, as you have already said, a 266 batting average, but he didn't get 100 runs. He only got 91. He didn't get 100 RBI. He only got 73, actually. But the thing that I didn't realize that he did either was he did steal 25 bases. So I was a little surprised at that stat.
Cubs like to steal bases. If you watch the Cubs, they're going to run all the time. So part of it's the strategy. I don't know if they'll ever do that again, but those numbers are good. He's a good player. They're all-star numbers, but is he worth $400 million, $50 million a year? He's not worth $40 million a year. He's just a good player that's probably going to win you all-stars. But if you give him that much, by the time he's just all these contracts, by the time he's 36, 37, you're going to be paying him, 40-some million a year, and he's going to probably be league average, like someone that the Diamondbacks just traded for.
Yes, we'll get that in just a moment. That was a great little segue right there, buddy. We'll do that here in just a second. Good job by you. Okay, so if you're the general manager and I'm the owner, and I tell you, Cheese, we want Kyle Tucker. I'll let you decide. Do you want to bring him in on a short-term deal that's got that 50 average annual value, or do you want to give him a really big contract with less average annual value? You want to give him 11 at 400, or do you want to give him 3 at 150? Which one are you going to choose, Cheese?
Do I have to pick one of them?
You have to pick one of them, yes.
I'm not giving him $50 million a year. I'd rather at least spread it out and just hope he just still plays well into his mid-30s. But there's no way I'm giving him $50 million a year. That's insane. He's just not good enough to get that. At least long-term deal at the annual value, average annual value is lower. So.
Right, but even at that, and I get what you're saying, but even at that, like we have already said, he'll be 40 years old. So once he gets past 36 or so, he's not going to be the same player. So you're okay with giving him a long-term contract, even though you know those last 4 years is going to be terrible?
No, neither. I'm okay with neither, but I have to pick one. The thing is, This is what Scott Boras does. This is, and so many teams have done this. Like Corey Seager's been really good for the Rangers, but at the end of that, that's going to be a disaster. And
yes.
they won a Super Bowl. They won a World Series with him. I think he was the MVP. He was great, but they gave him one of those contracts. He'll be like 38, 39 when it expires. But what Scott Boras is saying, well, if you want to win now, you have to eat it later on, and you should just eat it. And these owners that do it, it's crazy. And that's one thing that the Cubs and Braves, my two favorite teams, have avoided. They're not doing that. They're not going to give you an 10-year, 11-year, $400 million deal. Mm-hmm. So I wouldn't want to do either, but if I had to pick, there's no way I'm paying him $50 million a year. That's insane, even on a short-term deal.
So here's another question for you. Is he a marketable superstar that you think will help them recoup that money?
I don't think so. I
don't think so either.
Personality, he doesn't play like elite defense. I mean, he can hit, no doubt about it. I just don't know that there's anything about him that's marketable. I think he was very marketable in Houston. You know, I live in Houston. He's very marketable here. He's very well loved. You see Tucker jerseys everywhere because he'd been there for a long time. So he's marketable for that. But now he's bounced around teams. No, I don't think he's marketable at all.
Yeah, so what do you think about William here? 11 years is insane unless they get him a small airplane and a big insurance policy. Yeah, absolutely. Good take, William. I love that, buddy. That's great.
Yeah.
So I don't think he's not Shohei, right? He's not going to bring you a bunch of different fans. That's what Shohei does, right? He brings in a whole other international market. He's not Mike Trout, where he's going to bring in, those type of fans that he brings in. Even a guy like Paul Skeens. I mean, if you pay Kyle Tucker $50 million a year, what is Paul Skeens going to want in a few years? And he's just going to simply price himself out of the market in Pittsburgh. They're never going to be able to afford him. So,
wait till next year. Tarek Skubal, what a weird name. He is a free agent. Has Scott Boras. Wait till next year. He's going to probably want $500 or $600 million as a starting pitcher. That's going to. He's a prediction right now. He will be a free agent. Still free agent at this point next year because he'll just ask for something outrageous. And all Scott Boras does is go to 5 to 7 teams and, the ones that can't afford it and says, here's my number. Let's just see if somebody is stupid enough to pay it that.
Yeah. So I'm looking this up real quick. I know, hang on here. I'm going to get it real fast. I know Tarek Skubal. So he asked for $32 million, and the Tigers countered with $19 million.
In arbitration. Last year of arbitration. And let me add to that. The highest a pitcher ever has gotten is like $20 million. David Price, 32. And here's why this is important. The Tigers, they could have gone like, hey, we'll give you 21 because you've been amazing. You won the Cy Young. But I don't. There's no way Skubal's going to win that because that's such a big jump. But I'm telling you, my theory is Scott Boras told him to do it. Even if he loses, that sets the precedent. So his next pitcher client, can ask for 27, 28. It's absolutely ridiculous. $13 million apart. Like Dylan Lee and the Braves are going to arbitration over $200,000, and $13 million apart. If Skubal wins that, it is a disaster for any team that can't afford that kind of salary or won't pay. Every pitcher with 2 years left on their contract in Pittsburgh and Cleveland, in Minnesota, will have to be traded because they won't even be able to afford the arbitration number. It's insane.
Yeah, so the arbitration, for those of you who may or may not know about it, the arbitration, so the judge comes in basically, and he's an independent person, and he basically says, okay, he's going to get the 32 or he's going to get the 19. He doesn't decide on like a middle ground or anything like that. It's either what the team wants or what the player wants. So I'm actually going to put this out here right now because this is what I honestly believe is about to happen. Tarek Skubal's going to win this, and he's going to get $32 million.
I think he's going to lose it. I think they should have offered 21 or 22 million, and they definitely would have won. But I think he's going to lose it because that's such a big jump. But we'll see because he only made 10 million last year. 10 to 32, that's insane. We'll see.
I completely understand where you're coming from. That the jump. We'll see. So you're going to say no, he's not going to win. I'm going to say yes, he's going to win. And it'll be interesting to see where it's going to land.
But do you agree, I want to get your take on this. Do you agree how it's bad for baseball if he wins? It would just
absolutely
destroy arbitration, destroy it. Yeah.
It's I don't want to say this here. So it's going to be bad for teams who all of a sudden have really good players, because they're going to be able to say, well, I won the Cy Young, so I need to take this huge, that's $10 million. I won 2 Cy Youngs, that's $14 million. Or, I won the Cy Young and I got the most strikeouts in the season. So now instead of just 10, that's 14. And, it's just going to get out of hand.
And one more point, it's going to be harder to do a Braves contract, the Braves way, where they sign these young prospects to, say you're under control for 6 years till you're a free agent. Well, Braves will give you a 7-8 year contract, maybe 9. We'll give you more guaranteed money and out, but we'll eat up some free agency. The Braves have done that with so many of their players.
Yes.
For the most part, it's worked out. For the most part. Great for Ronald Acuna. They got him so much cheaper you get. But the problem is that these arbitration numbers go up so crazy, no one's going to want to do that contract.
And you're never going to win on every contract. You're just not.
You're not, but it would prevent those, player-friendly at the beginning, team-friendly at the end type contracts, because, their agents are like, well, look, this arbitration number is so high, there's no reason to sign a contract like that.
Right. So a couple things here. Here's my last question on this one before we jump into the Cubs and the Diamondbacks, and that's this. The Jays and the Dodgers have supposedly made offers to Kyle Tucker as well. Cheese, if the offer is close, which team do you think he's going to go to? The Jays, who have spent a ton of money this offseason, the Dodgers, who are seemingly always the perennial powerhouse, or do you think he will go to the Mets and get all the money possible?
I would love to see him go to the Jays because they were so close. I would love to see that, but I doubt it. I think he's going. I think Dodgers. I think he's going to the Dodgers. They could really use an outfield bat. I've said it from the beginning. The Dodgers. What Scott Boras will do is the Dodgers will sit there, hope his number comes down a little bit, and when the final offers are out there, he'll go to the Dodgers, say, okay, the Mets or the Blue Jays are offering this. Will you match it? Yeah, I'll match it. Okay, boom. And he's a Dodger. That's what I think is going to happen. But I'd love for him to go to the Blue Jays. They went above anyone else to get Dylan Cease. I don't think that they'll go above the Dodgers or Mets for Kyle Tucker.
Okay. We talked about this a few minutes ago. Our buddies over at the Red Hot Reds podcast are going to be having an interview that will more than likely drop tomorrow. Reds 9th round pick from Arizona State, who Cheese gave some great stats on that he just did last season. They're going to do an interview with him. They've already got it. It's recorded. It's done. Now we're just going to edit and release it. But we're not to be outdone here on the Lights Out Sports podcast. Next week, he had some conflicts. We said this last week, too, that he was going to be on this week's show. But he had a few things. I mean, we're all got family. We've all got commitments. We all have stuff we need to take care of. But Tommy Bennett, Red Sox fan, lover of baseball, and creator of Baseball Scoops Substack. For those of you who are on Substack, he writes for them. He does it at Beyond the Monster. He is also one of 3 people that host the Pesky podcast. So he is a Red Sox guy, Bruins guy, Devils guy, and a Diamondbacks guy. We'll talk about the Diamondbacks here in just a few minutes when we're done talking about the Chicago Cubs. Let's move into the Cubs real quick here, buddy.
Okay.
So one of the smaller moves that the Cubs have done, we'll talk about that first. Tyler Beede. He was with the Indians last year. I've got a bunch of stats on him here that we can read. The Cubs and him agreed to a minor league deal. Do you think this is going to affect them? Talk to me a little bit about what you think Tyler Beede might do for the Chicago Cubs.
He's a former first-round pick. He's got talent. He is, he's a top 100 prospect. He has not worked out. The Cubs have done so well with Reclamation Project. Brad Keller, Drew Pomeranz. They have done so well. Tommy Hodovoy is one of the best pitching coaches in baseball. And they do this. Every year they go after guys with great stuff. It hasn't worked out. And sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't. So he is definitely someone to watch in spring training. I mean, their bullpen last year looked like it was going to be a disaster. But because of Keller and Pomeranz, especially those two, ended up being pretty good. So, yeah, we'll see what happens.
And we'll actually talk about the Cubs bullpen here towards the end of this Cubs breakdown here, because they've added some arms to their bullpen this year too. I can't wait to get your take on that. Let's give you a little bit on Tyler Beede. He is now 33 years old, but Tyler has been through the Independent Atlantic League. He actually went and pitched in the Mexican League. He was a first-round draft pick, as you mentioned, but you didn't say the next word. He was actually a first-round draft pick twice. He was a first-round draft pick before he went to college, and then he was a first-round draft pick after he got out of college. So he decided to go to college. The Blue Jays wanted him before them. He turned that down, went to school, and then the Giants actually picked him up in the first round after he came out. He also went to Japan's Nippon Baseball League, and he kind of resurrected his – what is it?
Nippon.
Nippon? Hey,
Nippon, that's what Japan
and
calls
it's blue,
Japan.
Okay? It's not turquoise, it's blue. All right?
No, Japan calls their country Nippon. They don't call it Japan.
Nippon.
We call it Japan. Nippon. Yes, that means Japan. Yeah.
Okay.
Nippon.
It means Japan? Why don't they just call it Japan?
They call it Nippon. That's what they call their country.
Okay. And now, because we got all this international flair, right? We had a person from Russia earlier. Cheese feels the need to give us international flair now. So,
well,
that's
my
what
late
he's done
uncle
right
lived
now.
there. My late uncle used to live there. So,
Okay.
he was a big fan of Japanese baseball. He's a huge baseball fan.
So when Beede went over there, he actually resurrected his career, and he got himself to a 57.4% ground ball rate. So that's what got him back in the States. He hooked on with the Cleveland Indians, and he didn't do great the last couple of years with Cleveland, but serviceable at least. And maybe the Cubs can turn him around. It should be an interesting signing there. Of course, the big one that we've got to talk about, Alex Bregman. Alex Bregman just signed a 5-year, $175 million contract. I can't wait to talk to our Red Sox guy next week about that. I was really hoping to talk to him about it this week, but we can wait a week. We're good. We're patient people. The Cubs gave him a full no-trade clause, and roughly $70 million of this contract is in deferrals. So that will make his contract roughly $30 to $31 million per season after the deferral. Cheese, what do you think about the signing of Alex Bregman and the contract that they gave him before we talk about his stats? What about the contract they gave him?
Thank you for saying Cleveland Indians, by the way, not Guardians, because Guardians is such a stupid name. Okay. They've wanted Bregman for a while. They tried to sign him last year. They offered 5 years, I believe. 4 years, 115 with a no trade clause, but no opt-outs. And he got an opt-out. He had a higher annual value, average annual value with Boston, and he got the opt-out. So that's why he chose Boston. But they really wanted him. It's an overpay. Let's be honest. It's an overpay. He was amazing before he got hurt last year. But after he got hurt, he was okay. If he can stay healthy, he's a great bat. But that contract, I think that's what they had to do. They had to go past Boston, and they had to give him a full no trade clause because Boston wasn't willing to do it. If you believe the rumors, Boston did not believe that there was a team offering more money. They offered like $10 million more and a full no trade clause. So Boston really screwed this up if that's true. But as far as the contract, yeah, it's an overpay, but I get it. The Cubs had to get a middle of the order bat. That was a big problem. And Carson Kelly, their catcher, is the cleanup hitter for a lot of their games. That was an issue. So, good for the Cubs to actually be aggressive and go out and get a big bat.
Yes, so they went out and they got that big bat, like you just said, gave him a full no-trade clause, which from my understanding, and we'll talk about this with our buddy next week, Boston was not willing to do. Basically, Chicago outbid them as well, so they had a couple of different scenarios there where Bregman liked them better. I can also tell you that Alex Bregman really wanted, I said this a few weeks ago, people thought I was nuts and ended up not coming true, but he really wanted to sign in Arizona if they could have come close to the money that he wanted. They weren't willing to get close to the money that he wanted because he lives here in Arizona and he wanted to be able to do that and have, a better life with his wife and his kids and stuff like that. So he was willing to take less, just not that much less. Yeah,
he's from New Mexico, I think. Yeah, he's from New Mexico and lives in Arizona.
Yes. Okay. What did I say? Did I say he was from Arizona?
No, you didn't. I just
Okay.
no. I just said he's from New Mexico.
You know,
because he
shirt's
is
blue too. Anyway. So yeah, he was willing to take a pay cut, but just not that much of a pay cut. So let's talk about his numbers. Last year with the Red Sox, 114 games, 495 plate appearances. His slash line was 273, 360, 462. And with that slash line, and he gives you the 3 outs above average at third base. That's a defensive statistic that we can talk about if you want. He also gives you a 10.3% walk rate and only a 14.1% strikeout rate. Both of those numbers are excellent, along with the defense, along with the slash line all the way across. Alex Bregman is a plus 25 in weighted runs created plus. So talk to me about what they got as a player on the field, now that we've talked about his contract, Cheese.
Yeah, he's been one of the best third basemen in the league for many years now. He's always been good defense. It's not going to be an issue. Defense will be an issue. They needed right-handed power. Only Seiya Suzuki was their only good right-handed power hitter. So they really needed right-handed power. He's going to slide right in. His leadership is incredible. He's going to be a great locker room fit. And what you said was very important. Jed Hoyer, the general manager, the man in charge, he likes guys that put the ball in play. He does not like big strikeout guys. The fact that he traded Owen Casey in the Edward Cabrera deal and not Moises Ballesteros told you all you needed to know. He traded the high strikeout guy, but higher ceiling, and he kept the guy that hardly ever strikes out. So that is what he values, and that's really, really important to the Cubs is guys that could put the ball in play.
Sorry, I muted the mic because I was coughing there.
Okay.
We'll get, I mean, we've got a couple of people that are asking some Packer questions and stuff like this in the chat. Don't think I'm ignoring you. I'm not. We're doing baseball right at the moment. We'll get to the football here in just a few moments. So I'm not ignoring you. We'll get to everybody. Yes, so you're 100% right. When we would talk about the Cubs last year, we were talking about the Cubs pitching, then you would always say you need a strikeout pitcher. You know, they get hit too much. You need a good strikeout
Needs
pitcher.
to miss bats. It's not even saying strikeouts. You just need to miss more bats. They need to miss more bats, yeah.
And Alex Bregman does not. He is a great contact hitter. Mm-hmm. He walks a lot. He does not strike out very much at all. Again, 14.1 is a really low K
The average
rate.
is like 24%. He's at 14.
The average is right about 24.
Yes.
So and then he gives you a 3 outs above average as well. Now, one thing that we haven't talked about yet, you and I don't know this because we've never, well, at least I haven't, never met Bregman, never seen him, never went to a clubhouse where he's in, but he is supposed to be a great clubhouse guy.
Yes.
He is also, like, I guess last year there were things that I read about him where he would actually go to the pitchers in Boston and say, okay, you know, this guy swings like this, and so you need to pitch this, and this guy does that, so you need to do this, and, you know, inside, outside, up, down. He's, you know, this guy's always wanting to swing at the first pitch, or, you know, stuff like that, that he was going to a lot of the younger players and being a locker room leader. So my question to you, Cheese, is how much of a value, since you're talking about contracts and on the field stuff, how much of a value is a locker room leader to a team like the Cubs? They
value it as much as anyone. One of the things when Theo Epstein took over, he said, I want to get great players, but I want great people too in the locker room. You know, Kyle Schwarbers, the Ian Happs, the Jason Haywards, you know, those are the people they acquired, really good, high character locker room guys. And this is one of the reasons they've been after Bregman for a while, since last year, because he is such a good locker room presence. Even if his numbers slip, he's going to be great in the locker room. That's the thing with Jason Hayward. They knew there was an overpay with Jason Hayward. This is an overpay, but they know that the person it's super high character. It's going to be great for the locker room, great for the young guys. And this signing, it just makes a ton of sense. And what you said, yeah, if they traded Ketel Marte, I do think he would have been a Diamondback. I heard when you told me that, I looked it up, and there was other people that were not reporting it, but saying this could absolutely happen. But you know, if you're going to trade Ketel Marte, you need a lot a lot. I'm sure no one was willing to give that up.
Right. And then today they signed another third baseman. We'll talk about that in a moment when we get to the Diamondbacks portion of this segment. Does it bother you, Cheese, that he's a Scott Boras client?
I mean, it would have during negotiation. Now it doesn't. They've already signed him. The only thing that really bothers me about this is not the overpay. It's just the no trade clause. I know they probably had to do it to beat Boston, but
yep.
I hate ever. If I was an owner, I would never give a no trade clause.
Why is that?
Just because you need the flexibility. If you're a bad team, you should be able to get prospects. You want to get prospects for your veteran players. You should be. I want the flexibility to trade a player if I need to dump the money, dump his salary, or to get prospects for it. So I would never do a no trade, but I get it. This is what they need to do to get him, and they got him.
All right. Again, I know a lot of you guys are, the guy's name's Cheese, right? So you're like, oh, he's got to be a Packers guy. And all of a sudden we get all these Packers questions in the comments over here. We'll get to them, guys. I swear, I'm not ignoring any of you. We got a ton of them to get to, but we'll get to them during the football segment, all right? So now, do the Cubs trade Matt Shaw or Nico Hoerner?
It's possible. They'll listen, but they don't need to. If you trade Nico Hoerner, Gold Glove, great contact guy, great clubhouse guy, steals a ton of bases. If you trade him, you have to get blown away. I know he's got 1 year left on his deal. He might be tough to re-sign because this might be his really only chance to get like a big payday.
Yes.
But you have to be blown away. And I just don't see that happening. And the reason I say they don't have to trade him, they could put Matt Shaw in AAA for at least part of the year. And if they do lose Nico Hoerner, or he can be super utility, he can play second, he can play third. When Nico Hoerner needs a day off, or Bregman needs a day off, because they're going to try to keep Bregman healthy. He can DH if he needs to. But if you do lose Nico Hoerner, then Matt Shaw can fill in second base where he played in college at Maryland, and he can be your starting second baseman. So they don't need to. If they do get blown away, I think they would, but they're going for it. So they'd have to get a major league ready, probably maybe closer or something. And what team is going to trade for Nico Hoerner and give up their closer? Because that's really the only thing that really worries me about the Cubs right now is they don't really have a proven closer. So I think they'll listen, but I think Matt Shaw is more likely to be moved than Nico Hoerner. Let's just say that. And they'd have to get a really good closer and probably more.
Okay. They also traded for starting pitcher Edward Cabrera a couple weeks ago. So they're trying to shore up both sides of the field there, the pitching and the hitting as well. What do you think about Edward Cabrera? Where does he fit in? And what does he do for you as far as a Cubs fan?
He's got great stuff. He has not always lived up to that. Like his numbers don't look, but he's got great stuff. And like I said, Tommy Hodevoy, the pitching coach, has gotten the most out of a lot of his pitchers. And 3 years of control. They did give up their best prospect, Owen Casey. But like I said, he strikes out a lot, and he was kind of blocked. The corner outfield, they're easier to acquire than some other positions. So, Cabrera, he cost $4.4 million in arbitration this year. So I love this move. They need another starter. They need a right-handed starter that missed bats, and he can do that.
All right. So yesterday I said we needed a drum roll. Today I'm going to give you one because there was a trade that was just made that involves the New York Yankees. We got to keep everybody updated on these trades here. So
breaking news.
All right, let's go get it. So I'm a little upset because I like this guy. I loved his dad, and I was really hoping that the Reds could get him, and eventually. Now I'm not sure if they can. So the Yankees and the Marlins have made a trade. The Yankees have traded their number 15 prospect, Brendan Jones, their number 16 prospect, Dylan Lewis, and infielder Dylan, we'll say Jasso, Jasso.
Jasso.
Okay. And infielder Juan
Matthias.
There we go. That's what I was going to go with, but I was staring first before I said anything. And they got Ryan Weathers, left-handed pitcher from the Marlins. Now, Wow, that's a lot to give up for Ryan Weathers, a guy that's not been fantastically healthy over the last few years. So pitching is at a premium right now, Cheese. And you guys got Edward Cabrera for, I know you gave up Owen Casey, which was, a big time prospect in the Cubs organization. But I think you guys did pretty well, especially if you look at that trade. I mean, they gave up 15 and 60 as far as their prospects go. And if they trade
depth.
Nico Hoerner, go ahead. I'll let you do
I
this
was just saying
part.
the Yankees gave up depth. The depth of their system's hurt. They didn't give up a top 100 prospect, though. So you got to we'll see. When you do a trade like depth, you get 4 guys. You hope that like 2 of them become major leaguers. That's what you hope.
Absolutely.
So I get both sides of it. And Ryan Weathers, another one. He just good stuff, hasn't quite put it together. Maybe the Yankees can get the best out of him.
And, of course, if you didn't know, his dad's David Weathers used to play for the Cincinnati Reds and a few other teams. So I was really hoping that eventually he would come over to the Reds. Let's talk about a bullpen here for a moment. The Cubs have kind of remade their bullpen. They brought in Phil Maton. They brought in Hunter Harvey from the Washington Nationals, Caleb Thibar. You got Holby Miller now, and they retained Colin Ray. So, Cheese, I'm going to ask you to do this. Give me a grade on what you think your bullpen is right now.
Oh, I'd say B. I'm going to go B.
Okay.
I love the depth. They got a lot of different types of guys. What's interesting is Jed Hoyer doesn't necessarily care about velocity. It doesn't matter if you throw 99 or 92 if you miss bats. And he wants different style too. Guys that throw different types of pitches. He wants to throw different things at you. Hunter Harvey probably throws the hardest of those. He also has had trouble staying healthy, but they didn't pay him much. So I like that signing. I like all of these signings. 5 of their top 6 bullpen pitchers were free agents. They re-signed 2 of them, but they had to go out and be a bullpen. I've never seen the Cubs spend like even $10 million on a bullpen. They spent over $30 million on this bullpen. And Daniel Palencia, he's the one guy that stayed. It was still under contract. He's probably the closer. He had some up and down results. He throws 102, so he's probably going to be the guy. So that's the only reason I don't say it's like A- or B+, because closer is the only thing that worries me. But I really like these additions. Phil Maton, I really like that. I think it's a great move.
Okay, fantastic. I like your bullpen too, man. It's hard for me to tell you how great of a job the Cubs are doing since they're in the same division with I got 2 big teams, the Reds and the Diamondbacks. And, I'm never going to say the Dodgers are doing great. I'm never going to say the Cubs are doing great. But,
I'm never going to say the Phillies are doing great, so I get it.
Right, I understand. So these were great additions by your club. That's how I'll put it, right? Mm-hmm. So a couple more things here on the Cubs, and then we'll move to the Diamondbacks. Bregman's salary actually brings the Cubs' overall payroll to $231 million, and that's 25 more million than what the payroll was last year. So does that tell you that the Cubs are willing to spend more, that they're done spending, or that they need to maybe trade a Matt Shaw or a Nico Hoerner and get some of that money off of their books?
I think they would have spent that last year if they could have landed the right guy. I think what Jed Hoyer does is we have a value for all the players. If no one agrees to it, we just move on. And I think they would have paid Bregman last year, but he signed with the Boston. So no, I don't. I think the money's there if they need to, because the Cubs' last 2 years revenue has been up. So no, I think I think they would have spent it last year. This is kind of what I expected, to go after a bat. They trade for one, sign one, like a bat and a starting pitcher. Those are the 2 big needs.
Okay. I like that. Last thing, the first luxury tax is going to be $243 million, and the Cubs are getting close to it at $231. So here's my question, Cheese. Will they exceed and pay the luxury tax? Probably,
because it's actually closer to $239 because of all the bonuses they're going to have to pay, realistic bonuses. Mm-hmm. So it's probably closer to $239. You got to think in-season additions because they're going for it. So I would be shocked if they don't get under it. The only way they probably get under it is if they trade Nico Hoerner, because he's making $13 million this year. Right. If they do that, then they probably will stay under. I think they prefer to go under, but at this point, they're going for it. And the Cardinals are going to be terrible. Cardinals usually are good. They're going to be awful. So this is a good time to go. And the Brewers might trade Freddie Peralta. So they're going for it. So if you're going to pay the tax, this is probably a year to do it.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought up the Nico Horner thing, because that's where I was going to go with this final question. I really think that the Cubs will try their best to trade Nico Horner and get rid of that $13 million salary, give them kind of a cushion. As you're saying, if they go out and spend all this money and then they can't get a good closer, they're going to need, there's going to be a closer available at the trade deadline that they're going to go out and get, or something such as. So I think they're going to want a cushion to where they don't. The Ricketts I don't believe they have ever paid the luxury tax since they took over for the Cubs. Have they? All right. Well, you know your club better than I do. So
the year they won the World Series, they did, and then they actually paid it 2 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, okay. Well, maybe they are willing to do it. That was kind of the thought process behind not willing, because I didn't think they'd ever done it before. So
when they paid it, they paid it barely over. They like 1 year they owed like $2 million, like $5 million, so they barely went over. But yeah, they've gone over if they need to.
Okay. Well, maybe they'll do it this upcoming season as well. All right, the Diamondbacks. The Diamondbacks have made some moves here over the past few days. The first thing they did a move today, a move that's going to go under the radar that nobody's going to talk about because of the other signing that they did today. Spidey Cup right there.
Spidey.
Hashtag mug check.
Yes.
Spidey is today. All right.
Yes.
So they signed Jonathan Loaiza today. He's shown flashes of good in the past, but the guy just can't stay healthy. And this is it's kind of like what the Cubs did with Tyler Beede. They signed him to a minor league deal, so no harm, no foul if it doesn't work out. But he's a high ceiling guy, and he might work out before it's all said and done. So we'll kind of see how all that gets put together and kind of go from there. What do you think about? It's something that the Cubs did similar with Beede. Do you like these type of signings? Where you kind of cross your fingers and hope for the best.
Absolutely. It's low risk. Anytime you get someone on a minor league deal, doesn't matter who it is, it's great. There are players that, they want to sign a major league contract and you get to January and you're like, okay, just take a minor league deal. But a lot of them, they pick the organization. A lot of these players get offers from 2/3 of the league, maybe all the teams for minor league deal. But they go to where they think two things. One, they can get the most out of them, or two, the best chance of making the team. So he chose the Diamondbacks. So he thinks the Diamondbacks can help him get to that level. Just like all these pitchers choose the Cubs. Yeah.
Well, that's because, as you said, you got a really good pitching coach over there. I mean, again, I don't want to say great things about your Cubs, but it's proven that he is a good pitching coach. So I'll give him credit where credit's due. Ryan, just so you know, this isn't a WWE show and it's not a basketball show, but I'll get to your two football questions here in just a few moments. All right. Yeah, I'm not going to, although remind me if we have time, I would like to do one NBA thing. In fact, I'm going to better write that down real quick I'll write it down as you start to talk about your stuff here in a second. The Diamondbacks did the Nolan Arenado trade today, if you guys haven't heard. So they traded for Nolan Arenado. They traded Jack Martinez back, an 8th round pick in the 2025 draft. Let's break down the money real quick before we talk about this too much, because this is the important part of it. I know you're going to ask me, do I like this trade? And I've got to explain the money part to you before I give you yes or no.
Okay.
So Nolan Arenado is owed $42 million over the next 2 seasons. Oh my gosh. That's that might go down as one of the crazy contracts that's been signed as well. So with that money, the Rockies are paying $5 million of it. The Diamondbacks are paying $11 million of it, which actually is going to be $5 million this season and $6 million next season. And then St. Louis is covering the other $26 million of that contract. So they basically paid $26 million for a single A pitcher that the Diamondbacks picked in the 8th round. That's crazy. Absolutely nuts. So that's the money perspective of it, Cheese. What do you think about what the Cardinals had to do in order to get rid of Nolan Arenado?
I guess they saved $11 million. Cardinals they're rebuilding. I don't think it's not a full rebuild like the Cubs and Astros did 10 years ago, something like that, or 15 years ago. It's a retooling. It's like a 2 to 3 years We realize the other 4 teams are going for it in the division. We tried to hang on with our veterans. It did not work out. Our farm system was weak. Let's do a little retool while the rest of the 4 teams go for it. And, because three of the division teams, the Reds, Cubs and Brewers made the postseason. Pirates are definitely trending up. So, let's do a little retool. And, they tried to trade Arenado to the Astros. He had no trade clause. He rejected it last year. They've been trying to get rid of him and some of that money off the books for a while and just get whatever they can for him. So I get it. And I get it from both sides.
Yeah, so I just thought it was kind of pitiful that a guy from, Nolan Arenado, one of the best defensive third basemen ever in baseball, and could hit pretty well too, ends up being reduced to this.
Well,
it's crazy.
It's the bat really fell off the last 2 years. That's the thing.
Right.
The bat has really dropped off, and that's why they had to eat so much money. That's why they only got an 8th round pick pitcher. I believe it was a pitcher for him. But just real quick, I'll tell you the Diamondback side. It's only $11 million next 2 years.
Yeah,
he's going to play good defense. He's going to bring leadership, and if he can get back at least to like above average league bat, it was average 2 years ago. Below average this past year. I'm not sure he was hurt or not. I think he was, but if he can at least just be an above average bat, then that's value. 2 years, $11 million. So I get why they did it. It's worth a shot. And if he's just awful this year, they can release him in the year and just pay the rest of the contract, and it's not going to really kill their payroll.
Correct. That's the reason why I like the trade. I don't think he's going to be like a world beater or anything like that. Let's look at his stats from last year. So 436 plate appearances with St. Louis. His slash line, 237, 289, 377. If you want to talk about slash lines, shoot me something in the comments and we'll talk about it here in a moment if you need us to. Weighted runs created plus 100 is the baseline. He was 16% below that. So he was, Nolan Arenado, even though he gives you really good defense, the bat was so bad that he was still 16% under what a replacement player would give to you. Only hit 12 home runs. The last time he hit 12 home runs was in his rookie season. That should tell you where he has fallen off to as far as power goes. 6.4% walk rate, which is not terrible. That's his one of the lowest in his career. But here's something that he needs to correct. I've got this stat, and you know what? If he can correct this, this is how you get him back up to being a league average hitter. Chase rate outside of the zone. In other words, pitches that he chased that were clearly outside the zone, he did that 34.1% of his pitches. That's quite a bit. If you can get him to bring that back
surprising.
some.
That's the most surprising stat. That's not like him typically.
No, it's not.
Maybe he was pressing last year because he was struggling. Sometimes that happens. You struggle, so you press. But, he should be better than that. Like, he's a better hitter than that. I don't think he's going to be great an all-star again, but he should be better than that next year. So this coming season.
Yeah, let me give you a couple others. 16.5% of his at-bats were infield flies. An infield fly is not going to do you anything but get you an out, right? 16.5%.
That's right.
His K rate, highest of his career, 11.2%. I'm sorry, the K rate was one of the lowest in his career, only 11.2%. That is one of the lowest in MLB last year. So even though he chased all those pitches, that's a weird stat. How you can chase all those pitches, yet have a really low strikeout percentage. So a couple of different things to look at as far as he goes. Let me ask you this, Cheese. I can't wait for this. This wasn't in the notes. I'm decided I'm going to ask you this question. $11 million for 2 years of Nolan Arenado, or $175 million for 5 years of Alex Bregman. Which one are you doing?
What, you have to pick one? Give me Bregman. Give me Bregman.
Give you Bregman.
Give me Bregman. Now, if the Diamondbacks signed Bregman to that and the Cubs traded for Arenado, I'd probably pick Arenado.
Okay, fair
enough. I got to
enough.
support my guy. I got to support my guy. But the Cardinals never would have traded him to the Cubs. Never.
Fair enough.
They do not like each other, Cubs and Cardinals.
No. I tell you what this really tells me, Cheese.
Okay.
what this really tells me, remember Jordan, you may not know because, you're not a huge Diamondbacks fan like I am and a lot of the people who are listening here to the Lights Out Sports podcast, because I live in Arizona, got a lot of Arizonians, if that's a word, listening to the podcast right now. What this really tells me is that superstar third baseman, infielder, second baseman, wherever you want to put him, that means they think Jordan Lawlar's not ready. So they brought in this veteran, and they are paying, $11 million and gave up a pitcher for him. Doesn't that kind of tell you that they don't think Jordan Lawlar's ready?
Possibly. There's a DH now. Like there's so many ways you can do it. And Arenado's not going to play every day. He's a veteran. He'll need some rest. But it's possible. A lot of teams do this. They'll bring in a veteran right before someone's ready to maybe even mentor him and just to have that other option.
Yeah,
you don't want to ever throw a guy out there before he's not ready. We've seen that with some baseball players. Oh, well, we don't have another option. Just you're out there and they should be in AAA. So, yeah, it's possible. I'm not sure.
And I will give you this. Jordan Lawlar could be a super utility guy. He can give Ketel Marte a break. He can give Perdomo a break at shortstop. And like you just said, he could give Arenado a break too. So he could play once or twice every week, just giving people breaks here and there and maybe extending them out. Ryan, since we're talking about this, here's the other thing. There's some rumors that I've seen floated out there. And of course, they're just rumors. There's nothing with it. But from what I was told, got a couple sources here in town, right, that the Brewers were high on Jordan Lawlar, and the Diamondbacks might try to get Freddie Peralta from them, put him at the front of their rotation, and go from there. I mean, he's only got 1 year left on his contract, so it'd be one of those, we're going for it this year kind of thing. But that might be something that they do. That gives me the opportunity to also pull up Ryan here. What do you think the Brewers need to fix this offseason? Darn near everything, sir. I don't know how the Brewers do it.
It's a well-run organization. They develop farm system really well. They have a great manager. They just keep doing it. And every year, I think they won the Central 3 straight years, I think maybe. And every year, no one picks them. So it's hard to pick against them. Corbin Burns is gone. Brandon Woodruff get hurt. Doesn't matter. We still got pitching. And I do think they're trying to trade Freddie Peralta, but they want a lot for him. There's a lot of teams interested. They should, yeah. But like the Braves are interested. I don't know there's no prospect that is probably good enough the Braves have that could,
just so you know, Louis, it's our favorite sports podcast too, buddy.
We appreciate it, Louis. But
thank you very much, buddy. We really do. We
that would be an interesting
trade.
That would be a really interesting trade.
Yeah, I mean, they're going to have to do a little more than that. We'll get to your Steelers stuff in a little bit, Louis. I know you're going to be on here, and we'll do our football segment here in just a few minutes, but we'll get to you and a lot of other of you as well. So yeah, if they could trade for Freddie Peralta again, even though it's only on the 1 year deal, because this is the final year of his contract, that would be interesting to put him there at the top. Maybe he would basically be the new Zach Gallen as far as that goes. And we're discussing the Arizona Diamondbacks right here on the Lights Out Sports podcast. We got a few more things. The Arizona Diamondbacks also traded Jake McCarthy to the Rockies for a Double-A pitcher. I was a little bit surprised and I was a little bit upset. I'm a big Jake McCarthy guy. I like the slapstick hitter that can give you a bunch of speed, really good in the outfield. He's kind of in the outfield what Nico Horner is for the Cubs in the infield, but he's a lot less money.
He also had a terrible year. He's had a terrible year. That's the problem. If they get the 2024 version, great trade for the Rockies. I don't like selling low on someone. I don't like that. That's what they did. But he just did not have a good season last year, and that's why they traded. The Rockies are rebuilding, so it's a good move for them.
And just stick with us, Louis. Like I said, we'll get to your football here in just a minute. I know it's what you're here for.
We're almost done.
For the background to change.
We're almost done.
Almost done. But I'm a big baseball guy, so I don't want to be almost done, but we are. We're almost done. They traded for a guy, Josh Gross, Grosz is how the guy's name is spelled. The guy they got back in the Jake McCarthy trade. He was actually an 11th round pick by the Yankees in 2023. He was dealt to the Rockies in the Ryan McMahon trade. 4.67 ERA, 25.2 K rate, 10.3 walk rate, a little high, in 125 and a third innings in high A. So that's kind of where he's at. And for our Diamondback fans out there, I wanted to give you some stats on him real quick. MLB Pipeline had him as the 20th best Rockies prospect and said that he's either a reliever or a back-end starter. By what I could see video-wise and stuff like that, I would lean more toward reliever. But again, you're trading basically your fifth outfielder because the Diamondbacks have Corbin Carroll that's not going anywhere. You've got Alec Thomas. A bunch of other outfielders. Lourdes Gurriel Jr. is going to be back from his injury. So outfield is a strength for them. So they're basically trading a strength and trying to get a pitcher back that they think they can develop in their minor leagues. And they're just crossing their fingers that he will be able to be something.
And opened up a 40-man roster spot too.
Correct. Which is, taking up when they traded for Nolan Arenado today. So they didn't have to DFA anybody or anything like that. You're right. They had an open 40-man roster spot. Great point by you.
And Jay McCarthy's going to get a lot more bats. You made a point. He's going to play a lot more in Colorado. He played in Arizona, so he will get at bats. So yeah, and
he'll be good in Colorado. Slapstick hitter. That outfield. If you've never been to Colorado, I have. It's a beautiful ballpark, by the way. Yeah. That outfield is enormous. He'll be able to just plop things down, and then you'll just see him run like crazy. So hopefully it's good for McCarthy, and hopefully it's good for Josh Grosz as well. Maybe one of those trades that it benefits both teams and both players. That's what we'll hope for. We talked about the total team payroll in Chicago. I'd like to talk about the same thing in Arizona for a second. This makes their total team payroll $170 million, which is $17 million under what last year's payroll was. When a team drops $17 million, Cheese, what does that signal to you about the team as a whole?
It's not over. The season's not over.
That's true.
It's not over. You never know. They could make a big move, but typically Arizona, they just miss making the postseason. So you want to make it. So you expect maybe a little bit increase in payroll, especially because you're not even really close to the luxury tax. You'd like it to be closer to $200 million if you're. So, I'd be a little worried right now if I'm a Diamondbacks fan, but it's not over yet. We'll see.
Right, and
there's still some people out there. There's still some people out there.
There's a lot of people out there, actually.
Yeah.
There's a ton of people out there. We're going to talk about that next week with our special guest who will be on with us here. Let me make sure I don't mess up his name. I got off the chat we were on. Hold on.
One more thing I just thought about while you're looking that up.
Yeah.
Alex Bregman, one of the reasons the Cubs, I think, really went after him as opposed to like a Bo Bichette or something like that, there's no qualifying offer. You don't have to give him a draft pick because he already, had one last year, only couldn't have it once. And Boston, signed him. So no qualifying offer, which means when Tucker is signed, the Cubs will get an extra draft pick. And they would have lost that extra draft pick if they had signed someone with a qualifying offer. So.
Very, very true. Very true. Same thing with Zach Gallen for the Diamondbacks, since we're talking about both those teams, right? So next week, we're going to have Tommy Bennett on. He's the big Red Sox fan. He does baseball scoops over on Substack under the name Beyond the Monster, MNSTR is how he spells monster. He's one of three people that does the Pesky podcast. You can find that at Pesky_podcast if you're a Red Sox fan or just another baseball fan in general. Good show. I've talked to him a couple times already, and I can't wait to have him on next week. So he'll be here with us as well. Last thing on the Diamondbacks, they have made a few under-the-radar kind of signings with Merrill Kelly, Michael Soroka, stuff like that. But I want to talk to you lastly about the fact that they did not trade Ketel Marte. So I know that, $17 million under what they got last year, but they didn't trade Ketel. So they didn't feel the need to just blow this thing up, or they didn't feel the need to save a ton of money. Does that give Diamondbacks fans hope that they didn't trade him and maybe they're going to try to build around him?
Yeah, if you trade him, you're saying, okay, we're not really serious about competing this year. And they don't have to trade him. They signed an extension, a year and a half ago? So
yes,
they don't have to trade him. I think they listened because hit such an amazing year. This is his prime. This is if you're ever going to move him, this is the time to do it. And they were hoping to get blown away, but they don't have to trade him. But now that you're not trading him, maybe go out and get one of those free agents left. Maybe, go out and get someone and try to make the postseason. And you never know, when you get in the postseason, anything can happen.
I mean, if you're looking at it, you got $17 million to play with. I think you can go out there and get one, maybe even two pieces for your team. So I want to kind of make this all full circle a second. It's the reason why I decided to do Cubs and Diamondbacks, because the Reds made some moves here in the last few days. I'm going to do a special where I will come on and do just a thing without cheese. No need cheese for the Reds. So I'm going to do one later on this week about the moves that the Reds have made. If you're a Reds fan, look forward to that. Go to our YouTube channel and hit the bell for notifications so you never miss anything. When I release that video, you'll know exactly when it's coming. Here's the thing.
Thumbs up.
The 2015 draft. Here's the top 10. I think you'll find this interesting, Cheese.
2015?
Yes, the 2015 Major League Baseball draft.
Okay.
Number 10, the Cincinnati Reds chose Cornelius Randolph. I have no idea who that is, and I'm probably the biggest Reds fan you know. Number 9, the Chicago Cubs chose Ian Happ.
Ian Happ, yeah. I was about to guess that.
Number 8.
Good pick. Really good pick.
Really good pick.
Yeah, they wanted Benintendi, and he went earlier. That's who they wanted, but Happ's a much better player. Anyway, go ahead.
Yes. Much better? Okay. We can debate that later.
Much better. Benintendi sucks.
Oh, now come on. He had some really good years, and
but not the last couple.
Different players. Stop it. So the Cubs took Ian Happ with number 9. The Chicago White Sox took a pitcher that they really thought was going to do great things.
Carson Fulmer.
Really. Carson Fulmer. That's correct.
I watched the draft.
At number 7,
I watched him in college. I thought he'd be great too.
Yeah, I really did too. I thought he'd be better than what he ended up being anyway. At number 7, the team that used to have Bregman, the Boston Red Sox.
So it's Benintendi.
Chose Benintendi, yes.
All right, let me see if I can get the top 6. What's the 6?
Okay.
No hands.
Minnesota Twins. You'll never get this because I've never heard of this guy in my life.
Did they take
don't be cheating.
Tyler J?
Yeah, you're cheating.
I'm not.
Stop it.
I'm not. The Illinois pitcher. I'm not. I'm telling you, another player the Cubs really wanted. Those were like their 2 targets. I'm not. How am I cheating? Look, no hands.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah, you've got it on your cell phone or something somewhere. Number 5, the Houston Astros. Who'd they select?
They took Tucker.
Yes, they took Kyle Tucker. See how we're circling the wagons here?
They
Number
had 2
4.
picks. I know who they took second. They did 2 picks that year. Go ahead. Number 4.
All right. Yes, we'll talk about that in a second. Number 4, the Texas Rangers selected a pitcher. Do you know?
I remember when they took him, but I
had a Carson Fulmer type year.
Yeah, I think he became a reliever. I cannot think who it is.
Dylan Tate's his name.
Dylan Tate. It was a surprise. He was supposed to go later. Yeah. Okay.
Then the Colorado Rockies, who we talked about just a few minutes ago, the Nolan Arenado trade and everything else, right?
They took Brendan Donovan.
They took Brendan Rodgers.
Brendan Rodgers. Shoot. Okay. Yeah.
It's okay. And now you're going to have a third baseman and a shortstop.
I know exactly who they were. I remember this draft. I watched it.
Okay.
Second.
So who's number 2? Who did Houston take number 2?
Alex Bregman.
And who does he now play for?
The Cubs.
The Cubs. And then the Arizona Diamondbacks selected who?
Dansby Swanson.
Yes. And
shortstop out of Vanderbilt. He plays for the Cubs. He's drafted by the Braves.
Interesting. I thought that was interesting. How we could kind of circle the wagons, lock everything together, and
the Cubs had 3 of those top 5 players. They didn't draft any of them, but they ended up with 3 of them.
Right?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, draft trivia, even baseball, I will do really well. But Dylan Tate, that was tough. Oh man. And Brendan Donovan, that's the player for the Cardinals. I should know Brendan.
That's okay, sir. The shirt's still blue. Don't worry about it. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I know a lot of you have been asking some questions about our football content. We are going to do that. But, before we do, we got to give you some music. We got to transition here, right? We got to change backgrounds. We got to give Cheese all of his stuff here because he's going to be doing that segment. Cheese, Here we go.
Okay.
I know you're dancing inside, bro. I know you are.
Sure.
All right, buddy. What are we going to talk about today in the land of the NFL?
Packers coaching situation, Steelers coaching situation, and then we are going to pick the 4 games this weekend in the divisional round.
All right. Kind of a shorter segment. That's what you think, but I'm sure we'll find a way to stretch it out and make it really long. Oh, man. All right. Well, thank you guys for being with us. Like we said earlier, you can find us on Facebook. That's my personal Facebook that we can go over. If that's what you like to consume the content with, you can do it there. You can do it on our YouTube channel, which is All Gloves Off Sports Media on YouTube. You can go over to Cheese's channel and get everything that he needs from his YouTube. Go ahead, man. Plug it and tell everybody what they should do.
It's at Football with Cheese. CHEEZ. Make sure you subscribe, hit the bell for notification. I've made a video about Matt LaFleur this week, Jordan Love, and of course Mike Tomlin today, which we're about to talk about after the Matt LaFleur segment.
Right, so we're going to do Matt LaFleur first, then we're going to jump into Tomlin. We got a lot of stuff going on. If you're a Twitch person, we now have a Twitch account. Go over there and look us up. All Gloves Off Sports Media. It will be there as well. And then, of course, my X account for All Gloves Off that I run, All Gloves Off SM for sports media. And then Cheese, I know you've got one for your channel as well. What is your X account, sir?
At Football Cheese. So basically without the with, just at Football Cheese on X.
All right, fantastic. We have got, man, the questions are just coming.
Yeah, Louis makes a lot of sense.
Yeah?
Me and Louis just see eye to eye. You
know. All right, Cheese, let's go first round. Where are we going? Question number 1, bud.
So something you said yesterday made me think of this. You picked Mike Vrabel for Coach of the Year. We did an award show last night. It's a little over an hour, by the way. You can search the channel here if you're watching YouTube. Make sure you check it out. It was a lot of fun. We did a lot of unconventional awards. But you picked Mike Vrabel for Coach of the Year. You cited his leadership, his motivation, and how he handles the players on the sideline during the game. You really like that. And he's basically completely changed the culture of the Patriots organization and their locker room, basically overnight. You know, this is his first year as head coach of the Patriots. He used to coach the Titans, did a great job there. So they went from picking 4th in the draft to being the number 2 seed in the AFC. I think culture is a huge problem with the Packers and Matt LaFleur. What's so good in New England is a big problem with the Packers. I never see LaFleur motivate his players. I see a coach who complains when the special teams cost them games, including playoff games, multiple playoff games. Mm-hmm. And when his players commit penalties in the press conference after the game, he said, yeah, I see it in practice too. Never talks about fixing it, just complains about it. I never see the Packers blow out bad teams under LaFleur. It just doesn't happen. And the Patriots under Vrabel, that's all they do. When they play bad teams, they destroy them. They keep going. They keep fighting. They always seem to just dominate bad teams and never take the foot off the gas, no matter who they play. To me, like I said, this is a culture issue with LaFleur, and that's something I haven't talked about much on my channel. And I don't think LaFleur can fix these issues. I think he just complains. He doesn't fix the issues. He just tries to do the same thing over and over, expect different results. The definition of insanity.
Right.
If he was going to fix them, he would have already done it. And I just don't see a lot of excitement from the players on the bench, on the field. Every once in a while, I don't see a killer instinct from the Packers players. I don't see discipline. I see a lot of dumb penalties. I just don't see a winning culture. I see a culture, basically what the Packers have become is a culture okay with just getting the postseason. It's okay with losing in the first round because they keep doing it. I see horrific special teams play. I see a culture doing just, going through the motions at times, not always giving the best effort, getting dumb penalties, wasting timeouts, not seeing a killer instinct at the end of the half, at the end of games. I see a culture of a team expecting to win and blowing 2 or 3 score leads over and over again. Mm-hmm. And I see a culture of becoming a joke or even a meme around the NFL. As a Packer fan, when they were up 21-3 at halftime, I'm thinking they might blow this. They could end up blowing this. I'm not comfortable with that lead. I would have been comfortable. They had to be up 30 or I wasn't going to be comfortable. That's what's happened. What do you think about that? Do you agree?
When Matt LaFleur gave his press conference after the loss, mm-hmm. I don't mind you crediting the other team. In fact, I think that's one of the classier things to do is to credit the other team when you get beat, right? They were the better team today. They beat us here. They beat us there. All this kind of stuff. Yes, I 100% agree with that. But if you remember, he talked about the spacing and everything else. He was like, they started doing this and then we didn't adjust, and they started doing that and we didn't pick that up, and they started, they made a bunch of halftime adjustments and we didn't adjust to it. Didn't he really just basically stand behind the podium and say, I suck as a coach because we didn't make any of these adjustments? And then he admitted it in front of everybody.
He didn't say we didn't make adjustments. He just said they did. They made this. They did that. And he didn't fix it at all. And I hated that press conference. Absolutely. It was terrible. And I recorded my video before I saw it. Doesn't like.
Yeah, I don't know what that means. But
can you put up Louis' comment about Jordan Love? Can you put up Louis' comment about Jordan Love?
Yes. Give me
I think it's such a great point.
I forget that you can see them too. I forget.
Well, it's on. It's on. I can see the YouTube. I got YouTube on there. But that is such a great point, Louis. So this is the culture of the Packers. I'm so glad he mentioned this. I wouldn't have thought to say this. The culture of the Packers: great quarterback play, elite quarterback play when you had Aaron Rodgers, and still lose in the postseason. Our quarterback's going to play great, and we still make sure we lose the game. How is that possible? You cannot do that. When you get elite quarterback play, really good quarterback play, you got to win in the postseason. And Jordan Love was amazing in the game. I made a video about it. He was the second time watching it. Oh God, he was even better than I thought. And when he plays like that, they need to win by 2 or 3 scores, especially against a Bears team that they should have beaten 3 times. Okay, so why does the Packer front office not see this? So we both see this, and you saw the press conference, all these problems. Can you explain this to me, Mike? Because I just don't understand how he has worked. Why the Packer front office, team president, general manager don't see this.
So I said this one, there's a couple things that we're going to point out today that I've been, talking about on our X account. I really try to interact with a lot of our fans over on X. So if you'll, do that with me, you'll see me interact quite a bit, especially on the weekends. Saturday is the big day because I'm off. Sunday is the big day because I'm off on my job, my 9 to 5 or, longer a lot of times. But I have Sunday and Monday off. Cheese knows my schedule. It's kind of crazy. Yeah. But I believe there are some different types of teams in the NFL. There's different types of teams in all kinds of sports. There are those teams that you're talking about that are okay with just winning, going to the playoffs, and then whatever happens in the playoffs is fine. Okay, so so we lost in the first round. No big deal. At least we got to the playoffs. And there are teams that are okay with losing as long as they all make money. And then there are teams that want to be better, that try their hardest every off season. Man, our comments are going crazy. That try all off season to try to improve. And right at the moment, the Green Bay Packers are not that upper echelon type team. They're in that middle ground where they're saying, okay, it's all right. Matt LaFleur, still a good coach. He got us to the playoffs, and we're okay with that. And you don't want them to be that way as a Packers fan. You want them to improve. And it's like, okay, so we've made the playoffs as the 7th seed for 3 years in a row. I want us to improve. And your ownership is basically saying, hey, we made the playoffs for 3 years in a row. Great job.
Yeah, let's just keep him. LaFleur. And, you got the media that's protecting him. Oh, well, he did this, but look at his record. Look at this. Look at his record. Okay, you have MVP Aaron Rodgers, elite MVP. You got to throw those years out. And he actually was a better coach back then. He was. He still wasn't great, but he was better. He's gotten worse. And I don't understand how his performance this year, they won half their games. And the fact that they went all in, because they did, trading for Micah Parsons, that was the big problem. I criticized them on my channel. They need a defensive playmaker. That was a big issue. I was blaming Brian Gutekunst, the GM. Okay, he didn't draft one, so let's go trade for one. Fine. This was it. And they dominated the first 2 games against Detroit and Washington. And they looked like the best team in the NFL at the time. And they won half their games. I know Parsons got hurt, but despite that, they had double-digit leads. They're blowing. They had double-digit lead at Denver, at Chicago twice. Without Parsons. Parsons got hurt in that game against Denver. It's insane. And yeah, Vrabel was awesome this year, by the way. That was Mike's coach of the year. I almost had him coach of the year. I had to go with Mike McDonald, Seattle. But last question I want to ask you about LaFleur, unless we get comments. If they do keep LaFleur, do you think there'll be a massive fan backlash in Green Bay?
Massive is probably too big of a word. I think there'll be some backlash, but I don't think it'll be massive. I think the people like you who were like, okay, we've got to the playoffs for 3 years in a row. Now let's get to the second round of the playoffs, or, we need this and we need that. And I'm sure someone like yourself can look at the Packers team and say, okay, this is what we need. We need this in the draft and we need that in the draft. Like last year, I didn't think they needed a receiver, yet they took Golden in the draft. Not sure where you stand on that exactly, but
I can answer that. Yeah.
Okay, I'm sure you will here in a second, but
yeah,
there's not going to be a massive backlash. The only way I think there's going to be a massive backlash is if they sign LaFleur to like some huge contract, like a 6 or 7 year deal, and then people might have a massive backlash. But I don't think they'll do that. They'll probably, he's got 1 year left, so they'll use this year and then maybe 2 or possibly 3 more years is all I think they're going to extend him for.
Yeah. If you have not seen on my channel, if you're watching after this, go and check it out. I go over all the scenarios of why he might not actually be back. There's more going on than you probably think. But why did they go receiver in the first round? Brian Gutekunst, the GM, thought he had, a good enough roster.
Mm-hmm.
He was wrong. Offensive line and corner weren't good enough. But he looked at Romeo Doubs is going to be a free agent end of the year. And it was basically for next year. He drafted all the players he drafted. It was for 2026 season. He felt like, okay, we're going to lose Dobbs. We need another receiver. Christian Watson's hurt a lot. Let's go ahead and set us up for 2026. Explains why they didn't play him enough. They finally played him in the playoff game. He had a career high in snaps, and he was amazing. He was amazing in that game. And it gives you hope for next year. But I think that was the plan of the draft. They went receiver, offensive lineman, receiver, and none of them were expected to start. The linemen had to start because there was injuries, but none of them were expected to be starters. So I think he drafted for 2026, which to me was really dumb because he might have been fired and probably should be fired.
Okay, so before we leave this topic, let me go up here and find it real quick. We've had so many comments, and I apologize if I missed somebody. I don't think I have at least the ones that I want to put up here. There's a few of them that I'm just shaking my head at when I read them.
Louis doesn't like Matt LaFleur. I think Louis dislikes Matt LaFleur more than me, if that's possible. That was a really funny one. I'm not even, and you're not even a Packers fan. That's great. Yeah, Louis, you're a Steelers fan, I think. Yeah. So. But no, great point about Jordan Love playing amazing and still losing.
Yeah. So I believe it was Ryan who asked about what we thought about the kicking situation in Green Bay.
So I really like the re-signing of Brandon McManus because I think he was great last year, although he did miss a kick in the playoffs last year. But it just, some games, 3 or 4 games, he was just horrific. Kicking the ball too low, completely shanking. He missed all 3 kicks, the 3 humongous kicks against the Bears. So I think they need to move on. You can't miss. let's be honest, missed kicks cost them 3 games this year. There was, the block against Cleveland, but he did, it was bad blocking. But sometimes he kicks it low. But some games he just so off. He just shanks, and you can't trust him. You cannot trust him, just like this past game. The one before halftime was 55 yards, and they iced him. Okay, yeah. I'll give you that one. But the other 2 were horrible, and it cost them the game because they could have kicked the field goal at the end. They were in field goal range. So they need to move on from McManus. He's head off the field stuff too. You can't trust him. You have to be able to trust.
There's Ryan's comment. I found it. I wanted to make sure I put it up there and give Ryan his credit there for.
Yeah, great question, Ryan. I have not addressed that on my channel, so that was a great question. I hadn't even gone there yet. There's just so much Matt LaFleur stuff. All right, are you ready to talk about the Pittsburgh Steelers?
Yes.
We got another comment?
I want to make sure we get everybody's up here. I mean, because like I said, we've got 50 of them so far. They're flying everywhere. So I want to make sure I give everybody their due. Thank you guys very much for commenting up here. I hit that. Oh no.
We might have to start doing a segment at the end. We're growing. We got more comments at the end where we just go through all the comments. But
yeah,
McManus, I just don't understand. It's some games he's just hitting it down the middle from 52 yards every time. He's just amazing. And other times it's. Like I said, 3 or 4 games a year, he's just horrible. I don't. You need more consistency out of a kicker. Even kickers that miss kicks, if you have a bad one, you need a kicker that makes the other 3. If they miss 1 kick, but they nail the other 3, then you're okay. But you can't have a game where you just miss all your kicks.
Yeah, but we've talked about this on the show a few times. You're not a big fan of drafting kickers and going out and do it, but aren't they pretty important to this whole scenario here that you're talking about? I mean, so the Packers need to go out and get a better one, right? And then you're probably going to tell me in a few weeks that kickers aren't important. You can't have it both ways, can you?
I said they're not people. They're not football players. They're not football players. They're important, but they're not football players because they don't tackle. They're not in the trenches. They don't get hit unless something catastrophic happens. They're specialists. They're not football players. That's what I mean.
They're like left-handed pitchers in baseball?
I'll say this. No. I'll say this. They're more important than ever, kickers. They're more important than ever because of the K-ball, because kickers can make 60-yard kicks, no problem.
Mm-hmm.
And if you have, look at Ole Miss, how good their kicker was. If you have an elite kicker, that's a huge advantage in any game. If you can get to the 40-yard line and know in 3rd and 10, I don't have to throw a little quick pass to get in field goal range. I can check it shot downfield because he can make 57. That's no problem. No problem. That's a huge advantage. Not only, of course, making kicks at the end of half, end of game. So kickers are more important than ever. We might see kickers start getting drafted higher. No, I don't like drafting kickers. I don't mind using a 6th or 7th rounder on them if, maybe if you have a lot of, say you have 4 6th-round picks as a trade backs, okay, use the 4th one on a kicker. I'm okay with that. But I don't like drafting any specialists, long snappers, punters, kickers. I don't typically.
Okay, you can have that opinion, but we can also move on. So let's do that for a second. Let's before we beat this Packer horse to death, right?
This is a kickers only podcast.
We're about to lose everybody. All right.
This is a long snapper. We're going to have a long snapper discussion for the next 20 minutes. I'm just kidding. Don't.
So yeah, we are pretty sad the Steelers got cooked yesterday. So let's talk about the Pittsburgh Steelers for a minute. How about that, buddy?
Yeah, Louis, I was looking forward to that game. I thought it'd be close. So I was very disappointed. But we're going to talk about Mike Tomlin. He decided to step down today. If you did not know, of course you probably do if you're watching this, he decided to step down as head coach of the Steelers after 19 seasons. The Steelers were a force for many years. He won 1 Super Bowl and made it to another, loss to the Packers. But the last 5 years, they've won either 9 or 10 games and were 1 and done in the playoffs 5 straight seasons. So my question for you is, because you know the division very well, who do you think is to blame for them just being maybe average to slightly above average the last 5 years?
Being mediocre is to blame. We've talked about it more than once here. you can't get a great quarterback, and you don't need the football's changed. You need a top 10 quarterback in order to get further in the playoffs. You just can't have an average quarterback anymore and make it. That's not the way the game is played anymore. We've seen what happens when Mahomes gets injured. We've seen what happens when Jalen Daniels gets injured. We've seen this before, right? It had played out for those two teams this season. So they've not been able to pick anybody since Ben Roethlisberger, who was, not great the last couple years he was there, but they've not been able to get a person high in the draft. I think they need to go through a rebuild.
Okay.
They need to sell off some of their veterans, which they have a lot of, and they just need to tank, get a good draft pick, especially for this upcoming draft. This should be loaded with quarterbacks in this upcoming draft. I think it would be a good one for them to do it.
This draft, like 2026 or 2027?
No, a 2027 draft.
Okay, just gonna say, yeah, because this draft, after one or two guys, there's really no one. Yeah, okay,
right,
yeah.
So that's the reason. And thank you for reposting the stream. We appreciate it. And let's see here. Louis wants to defend his team. Of course, he's
we're not going to do
guy.
that. We're not going to push him in the ground.
No. We're just going to try to be realistic, right? This is a realistic thing that's happening with the Pittsburgh Steelers, and it's not a 1-year thing. It's like a 10-year thing.
Well, most teams do this. You bring up a really good point about Big Ben. Most teams don't do this. The Packers do. They could have drafted Mason Rudolph from the third round when they still had Big Ben, but that was a third rounder. They could have used their first-round pick on a quarterback, but it would have been late. But the Packers decided to do that. The Steelers did not have a plan in place when Big Ben retired, or the last couple of years when he wasn't as good. They did not have a plan in place for quarterback. So that has been a problem. They drafted Kenny Pickett. They took a shot. It did not work out. There's a crazy stat where he had like 17 starts and only one time did he throw more than one touchdown pass, which in today's NFL, that's really tough to do. And then they tried with Justin Fields. They tried with Russell Wilson. They tried with Aaron Rodgers. He's definitely better than any of those other guys. But even so, they're still a 9-10 win team. And if there are more problems that the offensive line we saw is a problem. The defense was great last night, but it's still not been typical Steeler defense. So I think you may be right. I think they should trade down, get extra picks in 2027, and just maybe sign a veteran quarterback, but maybe, I hate to say this, maybe not a very good one. So you do lose a few more games. Hey, Joe Flacco, let's go. Then he'll play for every team in the AFC North. Let's get Joe Flacco. He's played for the other three.
Why not, right? Why not?
You answered my next question. So go ahead.
Let me hit you with this real quick before we jump on too much. I'm going to go back to the Packers thing for just a minute. I just reposted a thing from @RELAX, right? Relax. Relax ASF. All right. I'm gonna follow him too and see if he follows us back. We'll see. So 19 points that the Packers kicker has left on the field during this season. He breaks them all down and gives you each and every one for each and every game. So I'm also going to ask you this, buddy, because I got to go back. I got like all kinds of stuff going on here. I'm going to ask you this question. I know we're going back a question, but we'll do it in this case. Should they bring in Ryan Longwell as the kicker coach?
No, because he played for the Vikings. He was Judas, so no, he's done.
No, he's Judas. Okay.
They need a new special teams coach, though. That's obvious. But oh god, Louis just made another really good point.
Yeah, we're going to get to what he's got here. And Louis on point.
I just thought of something else.
Louis on point today. So let's talk about. You want to talk about Aaron Rodgers for a second before he's kind of the Packer-Steeler thing altogether. So let's do this one. Ryan asks, do you see Aaron Rodgers retiring after the season for the Steelers?
Well, the Steelers, his spelling is they're actually stealing. Okay.
Yeah. Well, no, it is the Pittsburgh Steelers. They probably do that.
Okay. Wow.
They stole Carson Palmer away from us one year when they blatantly just took out his leg, by the way. So, yeah.
I can not confirm or deny that.
It's just my opinion.
No, I think if Tomlin was back, I think he wanted Aaron back, another veteran. Tomlin, yeah, he wasn't going to want, hey, let's just draft some. Yeah, he would. But no, I don't think Aaron's going to be back. I think they're going to bring in a new coach, and I think they're going to bring in another veteran. I just don't see it. I think that I don't know if Aaron's done. I think you need another team to give him the starting job, but I don't think he'll be back.
So do you think they win this game against Chicago if the kicks are made?
Yeah.
All right. So you and William agree with each other.
It wasn't the only problem. It should never have come down to kicks. It never should have come down to that. That was not the only problem. So a lot of people are just blaming McManus or just blaming Brandon Bostic for the onside kick 10 years ago in Seattle. No, the coaching was bad against Seattle, Mike McCarthy 10 years ago. And the coaching was terrible for LaFleur.
All right. So
it should never come down to it.
Sorry, I'm going to put this comment up from Louis. You guys can read that. I think this. I said this to Cowboy Reggie yesterday. We were talking back and forth about Aaron Rodgers. I've got a poll question up. We'll get to that here in just a second as well. I'll work on that while we do this. I said to Cowboy Reggie yesterday that the Steelers will not insult him, that the Steelers will give him a chance to come out and say that, I want to retire or I want to leave, and it's a change that I think needs to be made, or yada yada yada. So I really thought that they would give him a chance to do that. Here we go. Lo and behold, today he says, "Hey, I'm walking away," and all of this. So he doesn't get fired, and I think that was done by the organization because of his 19 years that he has given and done a lot of these things that Louis talks about. Louis says he respects Tomlin for his tried and true principles, and he commits to his players and his players, which is admirable. And it's really hard to run this team after losing Big Ben. Absolutely. I think you have some comments on this too, sir. So I'll let you talk for a second. What do you think about Louis' comment may have let Tomlin walk away without being fired?
It's possible. You never know. A lot of people think that, but he didn't say we just parted ways. We decided it wasn't. He's like, he informed us. So usually you don't hear that. So it's possible that they just decided to. I don't think he was just like fired and we're going to let you do that. Maybe they just agreed it was just time to move on. I think Tomlin knows they're not going to be any better next year at all. Like the quarterback situation is not even going to be better. If you bring Rodgers back, you might get at best the same Rodgers this year, if you're lucky, and he might be worse. So I think it was just Tomlin knows it's just time to move on. I think he's going to go to TV. I think he's going to be great on TV. And this is such a good comment. This is what I wanted to comment on. So if you do tank and rebuild, Cam Hayward's not going to be okay with it. He's, 36, 37. TJ Watt's not going to be okay with that. Jalen Ramsey's not going to be okay with that. Okay? So DK Metcalf's not going to be okay with it. So, yes, that's what they should do. And you can't possibly trade TJ Watt. And you can't trade Cam Hayward. You just can't trade these guys. So that could be an issue. These veterans are not going to want to do that. So I don't know. We'll see how it plays out if they do decide to rebuild.
Well, wait a minute now. You can trade them, but there is a problem with what, I get it. And well, Louis just firing stuff off here. We'll get to you again here in just a second, Lou. You can trade them, but the problem is you want to move up in the draft. And those teams that you want to trade with you are terrible. You can't trade TJ Watt to the Tennessee Titans because, again, they're not going to be ready either, right? TJ's not going to want that.
And they won't give you the value. They're not going to give up first-round picks when they know it could be high the next couple of years.
Correct.
Like Green Bay traded for Parsons knowing those picks are not going to be top 10 picks. No chance. Yeah.
Yeah, and here we are. It ends up being a 20. And again, if Dallas didn't have Dak and they were going, okay, we're going to trade Micah, and then when he gets traded, we're going to depend on that draft pick coming back to us to get his replacement, that's not going to happen. Yeah. I mean, you can do an offensive line or a defensive line replacement possibly, but you're not going to do a quarterback in pick number 20. So that's where I think Pittsburgh's stuck. They're not going to be able to trade any of these guys to, let me see. I'm trying to think here. Maybe Kansas City would take Cam Hayward or something like that and give up their number 9 pick. I think that's where they were picking at in the draft this year is 9. But you're not trading any of those players to Cincinnati and trying to get that 10 pick. I mean, that's not going to happen. So
No.
they can trade them, but I'm not sure if they're going to get the value back for them that they need.
No. I plus TJ Watt, the contract, DK, like all these veterans, they're hard to trade. It would just destroy your cap. So, there are people that really, really like Tomlin, and there are people. There's two really sides. There's one or the other that really like him, and just really sad today. They love the culture he's built, and others that just thought we just needed to make a change just to make a change, and blame Mike Tomlin for everything, which is crazy. Kenny Pickett, man, made the playoffs with Kenny Pickett. Made the playoffs with Kenny Pickett as his quarterback, and Mason Rudolph part of the year too. It's crazy,
right? And he's not Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, Mason Rudolph. He's
yes.
Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer probably could have played better actually, but he at least has a shiny nose and he'd be able to know where the football's going. Anyway,
you know what I know Mason Rudolph more for anything is Myles Garrett. Trying to hit him in the head, like ripping his helmet off, trying to hit him with it. That's what I remember most about Mason Rudolph.
Right.
Okay.
So before we move on, we did do a poll question. Let's get to this poll question, and then we'll jump to the next spot. Okay. So now that the Steelers have once again lost in the first round of the playoffs, what'll be the fates of Aaron Rodgers and Mike Tomlin? Now, we know since this poll question's come out, we know the fate of Tomlin. So here you had neither will be back, both will be back, only Tomlin and only Rodgers. So both will be back, got a really low 5%. The next one, only Rodgers will be back, 11%. Then only Tomlin. Yeah, I thought that'd be a little higher.
Yeah,
only Tomlin got 22%.
Okay.
And neither will be back got 62%. Over 50 people voted for this, so we appreciate that. It was seen by over 550 people. So again, great job by you guys. Appreciate all that you're doing for us, and responding and doing these things on all of our social media platforms. So we appreciate that. Here's what I want to say about Aaron Rodgers real quick, and then I'll let you comment back on it. All right, man, we're still just rattling off stuff over here in the comments section.
Yeah, don't worry. That was so funny. We got to put that one on.
I will. Give me just a second. I'll put it up here. So you like that, do you? We'll make people wait a second. Like, what is he laughing at so much? Give us a minute. We'll put it up there. It'll be pretty good. Here's what I think Aaron Rodgers is going to do, Cheese. I don't think Aaron Rodgers is going to sign with anybody. But I also don't think he's going to announce his retirement. I think he may do a Phillip Rivers type thing. And if somebody is close to the playoffs and they need someone to come in towards the end, and their quarterback gets injured or something like that, he's going to be the guy who is going to continue to train and who's going to continue to go to some crazy, out there resort or something where he hides from everybody or whatever, and then he'll come back and be like, hey, me, Aaron Rodgers over here in the corner, I can lead your team to the promised land. And he might get signed that way. What do you think Aaron Rodgers is going to do? Is he going to leave football altogether, or is he going to hang around in some capacity?
I think you nailed it. I think he might hang around. If no job comes offer, he might he's one of those things where he doesn't officially retire for years. Maybe years go by and he never actually officially retires. He finally does. He could wait for it. It could even be a situation where a team that's a contender, their quarterback gets hurt in the preseason or like in practice, and they're going to be out like 10 weeks, 10 to 12 week injury, and they need someone to get there. Like I could see him doing that. Yeah, I think he's not going to make a decision right away. We saw he waited a long time last year. So I agree. He's going to wait. I seriously doubt, because he loves the game. He loves to compete, despite getting the crap kicked out of him by Houston defenders. I think he'll wait and see if there's another opportunity.
All right, now the sound effect is good. It's done. We got to make sure we put up maybe we should start having our comment of the show. Maybe that's what we should do. Yeah, I like that. Here we go. Don't worry, Steelers have the 6th round pick, Will Howard. He can drop lots of games. Rodgers has to retire before he gets paralyzed. Not the same since his ruptured Achilles. Yes, I understand all of that, but Will Howard's from the Ohio State University, so don't knock him too bad. But I get it.
Well, he's right. He's not been the same since ruptured Achilles. He doesn't move as well. No doubt about it. He has been better this year. Usually it's the year after, like when you tear your Achilles, it's the next year you don't move as well. It's the year after that you're better, but still he does not move near like he used to. So yeah, but Will Howard, if they start Will Howard next year, no offense, Mike, but if they start Will Howard next year, it's not good. You're definitely trying to rebuild.
Okay. What about him becoming an NFL head coach possibly?
He won't want to do it. He's going to do his weird hippie things with his supposed wife and go off on his retreats and do a weekly visit on Pat McAfee. That's what he's going to do. That is what he's going to do once he's retired. He's just going to, on every Tuesday, he'll meet with Pat McAfee show. And that's what he'll do. I do not see him being a coach at all. Yeah, no way. Tomlin will never tank. Tomlin, they could tell him you tank or you're fired. He's like, fire me. No way.
Which I think may lead to the Steelers tanking this upcoming season and starting Will Howard and yeah.
Well, you could bring in a new coach. That's the thing. If Tomlin tanks, do you think the Tomlin haters will want him fired when he's winning 9 games? Oh my God. But you could bring in a new coach and the Steelers stink next year. They might give you 3 years. The Steelers might give you 10. They like to keep coaches a while. So if you bring in a new guy, this might be the plan. Let's bring in a new guy. We're not going to be good for a couple of years, but that's okay. And they can still keep their job. We're rebuilding. Yeah.
Wow. Here's a man. Where do you read this one? You ready for this one?
Okay.
Could you imagine Aaron Rodgers with Justin Herbert?
Oh, I think he'd be a good quarterback coach. I really do. But, I mean, look, Jordan Love turned out pretty good. I mean, he wasn't his coach, but I'm just saying.
Well, I'm sure he picked up some things from him along the way.
I don't see Rodgers being a coach. From what I know of him, I know him very well, not personally. He's not a guy. Look, he spent all off season without the Steelers. Like, he's just not that guy. He does his own thing in the off season. So I don't see him being on the meeting rooms, all the mini camps. I just don't see it. But I think he'd be a very good quarterback coach because his footwork, his arm angles, his release it's like perfect. Like his technique is perfect. His mechanics are perfect. That's one thing about him. You want to teach mechanics, look at Drew Brees, look at Aaron Rodgers.
All right. I'll put this up here. There's no way this is happening. Neither one.
Tomlin will be a TV or a head coach only. He will never be a defensive coordinator.
Yeah, I agree.
But I would love that. Last question for
our fans
Mike.
Even loving each other. That's great. Go ahead.
This is a big one, and I want to know what Louis thinks too.
Okay.
Who do you think should replace Tomlin as the head coach?
You
can even do a couple names if you want. I got a couple.
I tell you what, my initial thought when I was thinking about this, both of us had really crazy days. Neither one of us got really to look at the other one's notes and everything else like we usually do.
True.
So I looked at these notes that you did, with 15 minutes left.
Yes, Louis.
Yes, we want it. Yes. If we didn't, we wouldn't put your comments up here all the time, and most that everyone else puts up here. So yes, we do. So I like the Shula kid, and I could see this happening because
Chris Shula, defensive coordinator of the Rams. Mm-hmm.
Correct. I could see this happening because again, his bloodline. Mm-hmm. You and I both know the Steelers. What they've had 3 coaches since 1969 or some crazy stat like that. Mm-hmm. Between Knoll and Cowher and Tomlin. So I think they would get somebody younger like that who they know they can sign. And we're going to talk about it in a minute when we do our lights out list, when we do the coaching vacancies that are open right now. I may be talking myself out of where I'm putting the Steelers in my list here. That's going to be a great job because I think when you're hired by the Pittsburgh Steelers, you're hired for the long term. And I think they need a younger guy like Shula. That would be my pick to take his spot.
They like that coaches in their 30s, early 40s, up and coming. And yeah, he would be a fit. Like you said, the pedigree. Yeah, that's the kind of style they like defensive coaches too. They hired Mike Tomlin. They hired what's his name? The Chin. I don't know why it's escaping me now. Oh God, the Chin. What? He works for CBS. Somebody tell me. Oh my God.
Somebody's going to get it for you. I don't
know why I can't think of his name.
Referring to. All right, you got a computer right there. So let's look at some of these things. I don't
Not Chuck Noll.
I don't know who Jimmy
Leonard is. A friend of mine just messages me. It's Chuck Noll. Bill Cowher. Chuck Noll. Yeah, Bill Cowher. But Chris Shula, yeah, that's one I was thinking of. But some people have rumored Brian Flores as well. I don't see it happening. He's still got a lawsuit pending on some team. So he's a great defense coordinator. I just don't see it happening. Yeah. I've mentioned this. I love Clint Kubiak, the offensive coordinator of the Seahawks. He fits that mold, up-and-coming coordinator. He's young. I'm not sure his age, but I think he would be another great fit. I think him or Chris Shula fits exactly what they go after. He's 38. Shula's 30. Can you hear me?
I can. Go ahead, buddy.
Okay. Yeah, Kubiak's dad was a coach. Chris Shula's grandfather was a coach. So both of those would make a ton of sense.
All right, excellent. Okay. So I'm just throwing up some comments here that Louis talking all at the same time. We appreciate you, Louis, and everybody else that's been commenting tonight. And like I said, I swear I think we've got like 50 comments here between last night's show and this night and tonight's show. We've had a ton, just an absolute ton of comments.
We might have to start doing just the comments last 10 minutes at the end.
Right,
not all of them, but some of them. But yeah. Are you ready for the next one?
That's a good thing. That means there's a bunch of people listening and a bunch of people commenting. We appreciate that. Okay, so now we're going to pick the games, right? Which game do you want to pick first?
Real quick. I have to mention this. The Bengals
yes,
are the only team in the AFC North to keep their coach, Zach Taylor, who some people want to fire. So obviously no one had the bingo card. If you could pick one coach to keep their job, you probably would have picked Harbaugh. But
True.
My question for you, you are a Bengals fan. What does Zach Taylor have to accomplish to keep his job next year, in your opinion? Or is it pretty much safe no matter what?
Well, I don't think it's what he needs to accomplish. I think this, and I've been saying this for at least half the season, and now he's available. Go get the ex-Dolphins coach, because I'm going to mess up his name.
Mike McDaniel.
Mike McDaniel, thank you. Go get Mike and bring him in here. Let him be your offensive coordinator. I don't care. Pay him a ton of money. Do whatever you need to do. Give him stock in the Bengals if that's what he wants. I mean, whatever it takes. I'm
not sure if that's great stock to buy right now, but
anyway. Okay. Now calm down over there.
Oh, that's I love that though fit. I love that fit with Burrow and those receivers. And he was a run game coordinator for the 49ers. He does such a good – what he's done with the running game Miami is incredible. I love that fit. The Lions really want him too, though.
Yes, that's what I was reading that.
Yeah, I would hate that. Oh, my God.
Yeah, but that's what I want. It's not necessarily what Taylor has to do. Taylor's not – well, yes, he is because, the season's over, sir.
They kept Marvin Lewis for a long time, so
yes, they did. And he was mediocre at best. So, yeah, they're okay with that. This is what I mean. There are different types of teams in sports. There are some that have just lost for so long. They're just like, oh, we're finally winning. We're at 500. Woohoo! And they're happy with that. And their fans are happy with that. Their fans are happy they don't have to wear bags over their faces when they come to the games. So, we've got a great quarterback, and now we've got great receivers, and, everything's looking up for the guys in the orange and black. So, it's not what I want Taylor to do. It's what I want this organization to do. Go get Mike McDaniel, put him as your offensive coordinator, and let's go. I
would love that. That'd be such an amazing fit. Okay, so we're just going to go quick through these games. We're not even talking matchups. We're just going to say them, and we're going to pick. We're going to give the spread, and we're going to pick them. Okay. First one, Bills at Broncos. Broncos favored by 1.5 at home. Who you got?
I watched I watched the Bills quarterback last week just will that team because nobody else was doing a whole lot besides maybe Cooks. I just don't think they can do it against this defense. And honestly, I think this is going to be maybe not a blowout, but the 1.5 spread's crazy. I'm going to say the Bills by a touchdown the Broncos by a touchdown over the Bills.
I agree. I think the Broncos get it. I think the Bills force some turnovers. They won a close game, but I just think the Broncos are better. Bills just have too many weaknesses on defense. I think they're going to get a lot of pressure on Josh Allen. Next up, we both have Broncos covering 1.5. Okay. A little surprised the Broncos is not 4 or 5.
I'm really surprised too.
Yeah, Vegas, they love elite quarterbacks. There were spreads in the postseason when Aaron Rodgers was in his prime, like Packers by 9.5. And I'm like, this could be a good game, but it's like they have Aaron Rodgers. So, okay. 49ers at Seahawks. George Kittle towards Achilles. Oof. Seahawks favored by 7.5 at home. They played a few weeks back. It was very low scoring. I think Seahawks won by 10. Who do you got?
Wow, 7.5.
That's a tricky spread. It really is.
Yes, it is.
Vegas, they're so clever.
Yeah, they are. I mean, if I'm going to take the game straight up, I'm going to take the Seahawks over the 49ers. The 7.5 spread, though, you got Shanahan on one side, you got Saleh over there. I think they'll have a good game plan. I think Saleh should be talked more, too, by the way, about a head coaching job. I would give me the 49ers and the points.
So Brock Purdy couldn't do anything against Seattle last time they played. Absolutely nothing. Mike McDaniel's defense shut him down. I think they will again, especially without George Kittle. That really hurts. Give me Seattle to win going away. Okay. I really like the Seahawks team. As long as Sam Darnold doesn't suck, they'll win. Okay. Texans at Patriots in New England in the cold on Sunday. Patriots favored by 3. A little surprised about that, but this could be a really good game. Patriots by 3.
I don't think this is going to be. Unfortunately, I really think the Broncos are going to dominate the Bills. I really think the Seahawks are going to dominate the 49ers. And I really think
the 49ers are going to cover the spread. Okay.
Yeah. And I really think the Texans are going to dominate the Patriots. So give me the Texans and the points.
Yeah, I'm going to take the Texans as well. They had all those turnovers. That game could have been they could have won by like 35 against Pittsburgh. Texans just, if they don't turn the ball over, they'll be fine. New England did not impress me at all. I know the score looks impressive. They really didn't play well at all offensively in that game. So, and I think Texans defense is probably the best in the NFL right now. So give me the Texans, to go in New England and win and obviously cover because Patriots are favored. Okay. We've agreed on the winners in all 3, but not the spread. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, the Bengals just operate different than most teams. We've talked about that a lot. Last game, Rams at Bears. Rams favored by 3.5 in Chicago. Who you got?
Well, it's time for Cinderella to turn back into the pumpkin. That's what's going to happen here. Yeah. They have gotten so lucky. The whole cardiac bears, bull crap, and everything else, right? They're just getting lucky, and their luck's about to run out. The Bears aren't. The thing is, the Rams are going to come out, punch them in the mouth, take an early lead. The Bears probably will make a game out of it, but then the Rams are going to be the ones that come back in the end and score the points at the end. So what's the spread?
Rams favored by 3.5.
Oh, yeah. Give me the Rams all day.
So here's the problem with the Bears. A lot of these are about matchups. Do they match up well? The Steelers obviously did not match up well against the Texans with that pass rush. Mm-hmm. This is a nightmare scenario for the Bears defense. Do you think Jordan Love played great against them? Oh, those 2 receivers, they cannot cover Puka Nacua. They can't cover Devontae Adams. They can't. And Matthew Stafford, they're going to score so many points in this game. So the Bears have to score with them. And the problem is Caleb Williams doesn't usually play well early on in the game. He seems to play well in the fourth quarter. I think they're just going to get way behind, and the Rams aren't going to pull a Matt LaFleur. They're not. So I think the Rams get up and they, win comfortably. I'll just say that. I don't know if it'll get ugly, but I think the Rams win comfortably. So we have the same winners, different spreads for the most part. But yeah, Rams cover the 3.5. Okay. Lights out list time. There are not, wait, Mike, there are 9 coaching vacancies, but it's top 10. Could you explain that?
Well, yeah, let's do this real fast. We're going to assume, because, Cheese wants to put this out into the universe and wave his little magic wand there and make sure this happens. We are going to assume that the Green Bay Packers fire Matt LaFleur and become the 10th team that need a head coach.
Or they part ways, or they trade it. But yeah.
Okay, now let's just say fire him.
We needed 10 because we had 9. There are 9 openings.
Yeah.
So
let me do the Vince McMahon thing one more time. That's what Cheese wants to see. So let's do it, buddy.
Okay.
Who's going to go first, me or you?
It doesn't matter. I tell you what, I'll go first. I think you went. You went first last time.
Okay,
so
let's do it.
We're going to go. Okay, make sure we have the same list. So my number 10 is the team that I would absolutely not take the job. Right?
Yeah, we're both going to have that same list.
Okay. The worst job to me is the Cleveland Browns. They're going nowhere. They don't have a quarterback. They have all the offensive line is free agents. Andrew Berry's a terrible GM.
Nope, that was me. We're done. I was going to try to put music on in the background, but it always makes you skip and freeze and all that. So no music. Let's just go with the list. So you put the Browns at 10, but then I go over top of you. So tell me what you did.
Browns at 10.
Browns at 10. All right. I'm in the same boat. This is not hard, right? Browns, terrible. No quarterback because Shador's not one. Tons of cap. I mean, this is terrible.
Terrible cap situation.
Literally, it's terrible. You're coming into a spot where you've got no cap room to do anything with, and you've got no quarterback to win with.
Terrible receivers.
Yes. Well, I mean, you had the one, what was his last name? Fannin or something like that. He did a terrible job.
Well, no. They have good tight ends, terrible wide receivers. You can't have all your...
He's considered a tight end?
He's considered a tight end. And you can't... Your entire offensive line is free agents. They don't have an offensive line next year. It's not going to be good anytime soon. If you're a Browns fan, it's going to be a disaster for 2 more years. My number 9 is the Miami Dolphins. Their roster sucks. They've drafted worse than anyone in the last 4 years. You just look at everyone's draft. They're the worst drafting team. Chris Greer is fired, but Tua sucks. They don't have a quarterback. They don't have an offensive line. They don't have a good defense. It's going to take 2 or 3 years to even be close to 500. So number 9, the Dolphins.
All right, and mine number 9 is the Dolphins as well, and I'm going to make this prediction. Tua Tagovailoa will not be on the Dolphins roster next year, but they are still the number 9 team.
The dead cap would kill them. I think he will be because the dead cap, but we'll see. Number 8 is the Las Vegas Raiders. The only reason they're, not 9 or 10 is because they do have the first pick in the draft, but their roster sucks too. They have a ton of holes. But like I said, they do have the first pick. I don't like the Davis owner. Anyone last name Davis owner. Tom Brady made terrible decisions. So, yeah, it's better than the Browns or Dolphins, but number 8, Las Vegas Raiders.
Okay, well, our list is finally going to start to differ a little bit. The Browns were the same, the Dolphins were the same, but those were pretty, those were layups pretty much for both of us, right? So I know they've got a quarterback, but he's still not proven yet. And they don't have they don't have the head coach. They don't have a lot of things, but it's one of these teams that I think you can build off of. And if you get that spot, you give the coach, a new coach 2 or 3 years, he may be able to build something, but that's still a maybe too. I put the Tennessee Titans at number 8.
Okay. So I do have them higher, more on them later. My number 7 is the New York Giants. They underachieved. They're better than the record, but they don't have a good offensive line. The defense was terrible. And the defensive line should have been dominant. It wasn't. there's just a lot of issues with that team. Neighbors can't stay healthy. I just don't believe in Jackson Dart. So I'm going to say the Giants at number 7. He thought you were saying the Giants instead of the Titans. I kind of did too, to be honest with you.
All right. My number 17. I struggled with 7, 6, 5. These were the 3, right? I think the top 3 are pretty much given, and I think the bottom ones were pretty much a given. It's these middle ones that I struggled with. So I put Tennessee at 8. Number 7, Louis, I'm sorry, buddy. Your Steelers are going to be number 7.
Wow.
And here's why. We don't know who your coach is going to be. We don't know what they're going to do. We've talked about this already. Being media, hang on, Louis, I love you.
Don't worry, Louis. I'm going to put them much higher.
But what do they have? We have said earlier, you have to be able to run the ball. You have to have a good defense, and you have to have an elite quarterback, a top 10 quarterback. The Steelers don't have any of those. So that's why they're so low for me.
Yeah, more on them in a second. I will talk about them in a second. But they have some pieces on defense for sure. My number 6 is a team you like very much. I got the Arizona Cardinals at 6. They big time underachieved, just like the Giants. And I wanted to put them higher because they do have some pieces on offense. They do have some pieces on defense, but they don't have a quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, that's the biggest issue with the Cardinals. And God, I don't know how they won 3 games this past year. It's crazy, but yeah, give me number 6. I have Arizona Cardinals.
They tanked like what Pittsburgh should have done. That's how they won 3 games, sir.
They might have. Yeah.
Yeah. So Louis, to answer your question, these are the teams that need head coaches, and we're ranking these as the destinations.
The best openings.
Right. The best openings.
10-1. Yes.
All right now. So here we go. I'm going to look at a couple of these things.
And Louis, we're including a team that has the coach in limbo, the Packers, just in case they move on from LaFleur. Anyway, go ahead.
Well, I'll tell you how you're below the Cardinals because, yes, you are below the Cardinals. So right now, Louis, I've got oh my gosh, calm down, buddy. How fast can you type? So Browns at 10. I guess when you're really pissed, you can type faster. Browns at 10. Dolphins 9. I put Titans at 8. Steelers at 7. This is really going to make it. Man, I can't wait to see how he may throw stuff in his room right now. The Las Vegas Raiders are next. They are above the Pittsburgh Steelers because I believe they have pieces.
Okay.
What?
No, go ahead. No, I want to hear your reasoning.
Yes, I believe they have pieces. They have Aston Gentry. They have Max Crosby. They have Brock Bowers.
Mm-hmm.
And they're going to get the number 1 pick in the draft. So they're probably going to have Fernando Mendoza. 4 really good pieces. And if I'm the coach, I want to go to a team that has some really good pieces. I'm not sure if Pittsburgh does, but I think that the Raiders do.
Yeah, this is the most top 10. There are 9 teams, Louis, that need coaches. We're doing 1 through 10. We added the Packers because we don't know what's going to happen with LaFleur. We needed 10. It's top 10. Lights out list. No, I get it. The problem with the late Raiders is not those. Those are great points. It's the ownership and the people running it are terrible. And so I had to put them 8th. So, I'll just go through. 10, I have the Browns, 9 Dolphins, 8 Raiders, 7 Giants, 6 Cardinals. You mentioned this team already. Tennessee Titans, I have 5. Here's the thing with the Titans and why this is more attractive than people think. One, I think they have their quarterback. He improved throughout the year. He needs a lot of help. He faced some great defenses and bad O-line, doesn't have a number 1 receiver. You can argue doesn't have a number 2 receiver. Doesn't have a good tight end.
I don't think there's an argument there.
Right. So at least you have your quarterback. And here's the thing with the Titans. For the most part, minus a few years with Tannehill and Vrabel, they suck. They have sucked so long. It's kind of like the Jaguars. If they even make the postseason, you're going to get reporters saying, you did an amazing job. You don't have to win the postseason. If you win 7 games next year, you might be coach of the year. The Titans, Sorry, what were you celebrating? No, but
I was acting like, oh, you're great, yay.
Oh yeah, oh gotcha. Yes, yeah, but yeah, that's the way Chloe was about to cry. But no, I think the Titans. I think there's nowhere to go but up, and you don't have to and even after 2 years, if you're not winning a playoff game, you're still probably going to keep your job if you show some improvement. So there's not pressure like some teams. That's why I had the Titans number 5.
Okay, fantastic. I get all that. So now we're at the middle of the list. Okay, we've got our bottom, and now we're at number 5. And after the Browns, Dolphins, Titans, Steelers, Raiders, now I'm going to put the Arizona Cardinals.
Okay.
Why? They've got pieces too, and they've got pieces on both sides of the ball. The Raiders seem to have pieces on one side. The Titans kind of seem to have pieces on the other side. I will say this about the Titans, though. This is a great draft to need receivers. And if they get Ward some receivers, I think you'll really see a jump in their play. But we can talk about that later.
Jordan Tyson be a great fit.
Yeah, he'd be a great fit for them.
Cam Ward would have a really good day.
He would. He would be very ecstatic, and I think they can get a pretty good receiver even in like the 3rd or 4th round.
Sure, it's a deep receiving class for sure.
Correct. So I really think you're going to see them improve a lot. But the Cardinals have got Paris Johnson. They've got Marvin Harrison Jr., although he's got to play better. We're not sure about the Kyler Murray situation, but then they've got their cornerback that they just got in the draft. You've got Trey McBride. You've got Budda Baker. I mean, you've got pieces there, and you got pieces on both sides of the ball. So because you've got some pieces and a pretty good young defensive core, I went with the Cardinals at number 5. And again, this topic is the best destinations for teams that need head coaches.
For example, if you're like John Harbaugh or Kevin Stefanski and you can pick your job, this is what we think are the best jobs right now. Now. Number 4, I have, you mentioned him. I have yes. Number 4, I have the Pittsburgh Steelers. I have them higher than you. And here's the reason. I get your points were valid, but the point I'm trying to make about the Steelers is it's a very well-run organization that doesn't have a quarterback. I love their strategy. Build through the draft. Re-sign our key players. They have it's just well-run. They do the same thing. They know it works, and they do it over. And the biggest problem, you can't punish an organization just because, they don't pick high and don't have a quarterback. So it's still a good job, and they're going to give you time. They're going to be patient. They have shown that. 3 coaches since 1969. The reason why it's not top 3, why it's 4, is because they don't have a quarterback. But it's still a job a lot of coaches are going to want.
All right. My 4, the Baltimore Ravens. I toyed with this because I'm not sure if they really deserve to be this high. But at the same point, I'm not sure if he's okay. Okay. But what have they got? They've got a quarterback that looks broke down right now. Lamar looked awful. They've got a defense that looks old. They've got offense and defensive line. Neither one of them look great. You've got one receiver in Jay Flowers and nobody else. So I'm not sure if they deserve to be number 4. But because, it's not like these teams are great that need head coaches. That's the whole reason they need head coaches. So, kind of a process of elimination, I put the Baltimore Ravens at number 4.
I'll push back on it a little bit when I get to them.
Sure.
My number 3 is the Atlanta Falcons. The biggest issue with the Falcons was they didn't have pass rush. The defense wasn't good enough. So they went out and addressed that issue. They have a young, athletic defensive line. The defense is very good. Problem is Michael Penix didn't play well and got hurt. He showed some promise in his rookie year when he finally became the guy. And they have Bijan Robinson. They have Drake London. They, like I said, a good defense. It's a good destination. Michael Penix Jr. is unknown. It's why I don't have him in the top 2, the Falcons, but it's still a really good job because that's a young athletic team.
All right, and the Ravens snuck above the Steelers.
I do have the Ravens and the Steelers.
Better than the Steelers, sir.
I'll explain it. It'll be next. But
okay, that's fine. You know what? I'll just leave this up here, Louis, and for thinking, we'll thank you for commenting so much by leaving this comment sit up here for a minute. So I'm going to give you my top three here in a second, but let's review the ones backwards first. So Browns, Dolphins, Titans, Steelers, Raiders at 6, Cardinals at 5, Ravens at 4. My number 3 team, I believe, is the same as your number 3 team, the Atlanta Falcons. Okay. If I'm going to go through and pick and say which team has the greatest amount of pieces, it's the Atlanta Falcons. They have got 2 good edge rushers. They've got a great running back. I mean, fantastic running back. Maybe one of the best in the league. Maybe the best.
There are games he just takes over and wins you the games.
Absolutely.
Like, takes over the game, yeah.
You've got a great tight end. Well, great, maybe not. You have an above average tight end.
He's a free agent, so you can throw that out.
Okay.
I don't know if
All right. But again, what you said is 100% right. The reason they're not any higher on this list, and the reason that my 2 teams that are the highest on this list might surprise some people, is because you just don't know what your quarterback's going to be here. I would love to say Michael Penix Jr. is going to be a great NFL quarterback, but I just don't know, and I'm just not sure. So because of that, I had to put him at 3 and not 2 or 1.
My number 2 is the Baltimore Ravens, and your points make sense. Lamar hurt his back. That was a problem. But the year before, he was amazing. And at least you have a quarterback. Some of these other jobs, it's unknown. And we've seen other coaches, if you don't have a quarterback, 3 years, you're gone. And yes, they only have Zay Flowers. They have good tight ends. Guard situation's bad. I like their offensive tackles. Their center's great. Offensive guard's a problem. But the biggest problem on the defense is pass rush. It was like remind me of the Atlanta Falcons year before. They have to get a pass rush. They have no one that can rush the passer. They have some young guys in the secondary. I love Kyle Hamilton. He's incredible at safety. And they have some good linebackers, but the pass rush was killed the defense this year. But it's still a very talented roster. So I had to put them at 2. Lamar is a big thing going forward. If he can return to form the year before, if you told me right now, if he can return to form the year before, I would put him number 1, but I have him 2 on this list.
All right. My number 2 team is this. You've got a young running back that I like a lot. You kind of sort of like him. I like the guy a ton. You got a young quarterback who is, we're not 100% sure on him yet. And he's got to stop running out there so much and putting his body to, being exposed so much. But I like a lot of his intangibles. I like the fact that he wants to win and he wants to play and he's willing to go out there and get those extra yards. It's a good quality to have in a quarterback. You've got a young, really good receiver as well. Your offense is not bad. And you need to just draft on the defensive side. They need to go after a defensive coach. And here's what put them over the top for me. I think that the New York Giants are ready to win. I think that ownership group will put the money in to actually win. Some of these other teams, will the Falcons do it? Will the Ravens do it? Will the Cardinals do it? I'm not really sure. But I'm relatively certain that the New York Giants will do it. That's the thing that put them over the top for me. If I'm a coach, that's where I want to go. Somewhere where I know they'll spend money and get good players.
I get it. You have to believe in Jackson Dart to put him that high. I just don't. And Scadaboo got hurt. Malik Neighbors got hurt. Jackson Dart got hurt. I love Scadaboo as well. Great point about him. Great pick in the 4th round, but he got hurt. His style. So I get it. I had them 7th. I get it, but I get why you had him 2nd. Okay. Before I do a number 1, which we have the same number 1 because there's only 10 teams.
There's only one left.
10 Browns, 9 Dolphins. Yes, the Browns, no one wants that job. 8 Raiders, 7 Giants, 6 Cardinals, 5 Titans, 4 Steelers, 3 Falcons, 2 Ravens, and number 1 is the Green Bay Packers. I think they have the best roster. They need to clean up the corner and offensive line. You have Jordan Love in place. I mean, Micah Parsons, Tucker Kraft are coming back. They tore their ACLs, but they'll be back. It's pretty it's very possible he might take that job. That's been rumored that might be his preferred destination. If he gets offered all of them, I would not go there. I would go somewhere else, maybe the Falcons. But honestly, no, he really wants to go to Green Bay. I guarantee you, if Packers move on from the 4. But yeah, it's the Green Bay Packers. Let's be honest. If they had a competent coach, they would have won the division. They'd still be playing. I mean, it's what else can I say? Mike, your turn.
I wanted to give you the floor there. I was leaned back in the chair for one of the first times ever. I
want you to say great things about my team.
B. Glassman, 08. I agree. I 100% agree. I think John Harbaugh is going to go to the Giants. I agree with you. I'll say that right now as well. So, yes, the Packers are number 1. But you didn't mention what puts them number 1 for me.
Okay.
Tradition. Lambeau Field. The frozen tundra. I mean, I want to play for a team that is owned by the fans. I want to play for a team that has this rich NFL tradition. And there is no team in the NFL that has a richer tradition than the Green Bay Packers. People know exactly who they are. They know the color of the jersey. They know Rodgers, Favre, Love, Star even. I mean, they know all of these different players because they've had that forever. And if I'm a coach and I get to be part of that tradition, not only with the roster that they have, and you're right, Parsons will be back. Tucker will be back. You've got a top 10 quarterback in Love. You've got a really good running back as well. I'm not sure if I'd go top 10, but he's at least top 12.
Oh, Josh Jacobs is top 5, dude.
Oh, here we go.
Oh, come on, man. The dude, he's a stud when he's healthy. Oh, my gosh.
Okay, when he's healthy, you said it right. I can't put him top 10 because he's not healthy half the time. So
he's
can't do it. Yeah, that's how did Vince Lombardi not get mentioned? I don't know. I was rolling through here.
Don Hudson. Why do you mention Don Hudson?
You, Louis, you got mentioned.
Don Hudson, the best player in NFL history. You didn't mention him.
It's honestly because I don't know who that is. So
Don Hudson, he's the best player in NFL history. Look it up, but he is.
Okay. All right. We'll see. Maybe I'll have to do some Googling here.
Did you not watch football in the 30s or 40s when you were a little boy?
I'm going to shave your head bald. No, I did not, sir. I mean, this is the most hair I've had in years, and you can barely see it on screen. So, yeah, I mean, I want the Packers not only because of what they've got as far as players go, but what I really want the Packers for is the tradition. Man, to be able to say I was a Green Bay Packer. Yeah, that's like saying.
Or I coached the Green Bay Packers. They name a street after you. If you win a Super Bowl, they'll name a street after you. Yeah.
That's what I'm
practice. I don't know if you know this. I'm sure you do, but like in practice and training camp, when the players walk from the locker room to the practice field, they ride kids' bikes. The kids get to ride with the players. I don't know if you know about that tradition. So all these kids, if you show up there, the players. Yep, they'll ride your bike and they'll walk with you. They let the kids walk with the players every single training camp practice. It's really cool. It's a college atmosphere, and that is one of the reasons why the culture being so bad we talked about like an hour ago probably now is so frustrating because it is a college atmosphere. We love the Packers. We want to win. We want to be the best. We don't accept just making the playoffs. That's just not, especially when you look, if you don't have a quarterback, if you're the Jets or Raiders and you haven't had a quarterback in 30 years, okay, it'd be great if we made the playoffs, but it's not that situation. We've always had a quarterback for 30 years. So it's frustrating. But we both have the Packers at number 1. I was wondering, I was like, will he have it 1 or 2? He might have it 2. We'll see. I was curious, but okay.
I got you, buddy. I got you. All right, man, we have gone over 3 hours. 3 hours and almost 10 minutes right at the moment.
Longest show we've ever had.
Yeah.
There was so much to talk about.
Oh, man, there was. And we cut the college football segment down. We actually cut the NFL segment down some. I mean, it was crazy. But we do this because we love it. And we, hopefully you love it as well. Comment. Tell us, do you like the new logo at the top? Are you going to be with us on Twitch? Hurry up, Louie. Hurry up, buddy. Type faster. Put it up here, man. We'll do it. I mean, it's already 3:10. Why, what's 3:12 or 3:15, right?
I'll heat my chicken up whenever.
Oh, hang on. Rodgers or Brees? My friends and I debated this for an hour today. Rodgers or Brees? Oh.
I mean, I have an answer. I mean, I think it's pretty obvious what I'm going to say.
Well, yeah, you're going to say Rodgers. I mean,
I love Brees. Brees didn't have the size. He didn't have the mobility. He didn't have the arm. Brees probably did more with the tools, but Rodgers was better. Rodgers could just do more.
You know what? I don't think I can say it any better than that. You're right.
Love Brees, though. I thought Brees was tremendous. I love watching him play. He's so efficient. But you're talking about the two probably most sound mechanical quarterbacks I've ever seen. Their footwork, just everything. The way the ball came out of their hands was great. But I think you have to take Rodgers. To me, Rodgers top 5 all time.
All right. I like what you said because Brees wasn't really highly touted. He was going to, okay, he's good. He's okay.
Second round pick.
Second
round pick, not a cane arm. He's 5'11" and a half. Rodgers 6'2", more athletic, 215, more athletic, bigger arm. But Brees was just really good. And just there were some games you just watched Drew Brees. It's like he shouldn't be this good, but he's just so good. Like he threw for 383 yards and 4 touchdowns. Like he shouldn't do that. But he just did. Like he was really, really good.
All right, guys, we're going to do the 5 Fleming 5 and 5 follow-up. We are probably not going to record it tonight because it's we've gone 3 hours long on a podcast, but we'll try to get it out to you later on this week. We appreciate everything that you guys have done. Hold on, there's another comment. Let me. Here we go. Rodgers for me, rating Montana. Okay, so maybe we'll look at ranking the quarterbacks of all time before this is out, and then Vince will. Maybe we'll let you do.
Don't forget Don't ever forget how good Dan Marino was. Don't you ever forget what Dan Marino did before anyone else did. But yeah.
All right. So I'm just forewarning you. We're not doing any more comments. We can't keep going back. It's 3 minutes.
We need to end this.
12 minutes.
Cheese needs his chicken. Cheese wants his chicken. He needs his chicken.
Get some spaghetti.
Almost out of water.
Right? Oh wow! Look out! You're almost out of water.
I never run out, but it was such a long show.
So I'm not. Look at that monster. So yes. All right, guys. Thank you all very much. We certainly appreciate it. Cheese, anything you want to add to the end of the show? Why don't you plug your stuff one more time, buddy?
At Football with Cheese on YouTube. Football with Cheese, CHEEZ. Follow me on X at Football Cheese. And yes, Louis, chicken above all. I eat chicken 4 nights a week for dinner, so yeah. On average, maybe more.
That's why some people say he's a dumb cluck. Anyway, so
nobody says that.
Nobody said no. Okay, this is
you just started it, yeah.
Did I? Okay, well we'll have to do hashtag. Never mind. So hey, we love each and every one of you. Thank you all for being with us, especially for a 3 hour and 3 hour podcast. Thank you guys. Appreciate each and every one of you. And what we say at the end of every single broadcast is this. The only thing that's fair in life is a baseball hit between the third and first base line. Good evening, everyone.